That was a pretty cool song. I was totally just jamming out to it. Anyway, let's turn the game sound back on and let's switch screens here. Hello everybody, happy Saturday, welcome back to the stream. Woo! I'm wearing contacts today. So that's new. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing to say. Happy Halloween in advance. We might stream tomorrow, depending on what happens, because I have a friend who's coming to town, so gotta go hang out with them. But if we get back early enough, maybe I'll stream something for the sake of it'll be Halloween, and that'll be super fun. But anyway, I've been excited to get back to this. Man, I kind of miss doing Phoenix Wright more often. I still love that I get to play other games now too, but I've missed having less time in between cases, you know, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll just try to throw in an extra stream of this in the middle of the week too. We'll see what happens. It kind of depends on like real life schedule too, so you know, no guarantees, but I do get the itch to play in the middle of the week too, you know? Especially now that I'm done farming shit on 14 for the event, I kind of have a little more free time. At least until Endwalker comes out. Anyway, let's cop back in. So, our client is one Miss Maggie Byrde, again, who was definitely framed for murder. Defended for it once by someone pretending to be us. Wow. An imposter. Who looks nothing and sounds nothing like us, but for whatever reason, nobody checked his credentials. Like, what the fuck, man? You know? So, here we are, reopening the case. I don't know how that's gonna work. We're gonna be against Godo. And, yeah. I don't know. She was a waitress. Things happen. Living in the future because it's January, apparently. So, I don't know. Let's go. Let's free the bird. Free the bird! January 7th, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Oh, crap. What did the voice sound like? Shit. That's the other problem with waiting so long in between these Phoenix Wright streams, is I kind of forget how to do the voices, man.
Oh, I see. I should have expected this. Nobody saw the other guy, huh? But he was there when I took the coffee over, sir. Scout's honor.
Maggie! Oh, it's shit. It's Gumshoe.
Ah, Detective Gumshoe.
Are you doing all right? How you feeling?
As if you need to ask either question, sir.
Don't let him get you down, Maggie. And don't forget to eat well, okay?
Roger.
And you! Yes? You'd better square this case away, got it, pal? Maggie's innocent, you hear? You screw up, I'll be doing some squaring away myself. Gumshoe, let's be honest here. You're not very threatening, my man. Squaring away some paperwork for your arrest? I think he's serious.
Hey, Detective, you're on our side for once, right?
Yep.
So you'll be able to help Maggie out, right? Really? Can you, sir?
Oh, of course! I've got the situation under control. I'm gonna be the first witness on the stand today. Something I say doesn't mesh with the facts, make sure you point it out, alright? Sure. That's what we always do. Okay, we're forming a united front today, pal. You get me?
I can't tell you how grateful I am, sir. I've always admired you so much, Detective. I know I can count on you. Looks like it should all go pretty smoothly today, huh?
I can only wish. January 7th, 10 o'clock a.m. sharp. District Court, courtroom number 4. No, it's the coffee man. Oh, I should have set up a coffee counter. I have an actual counter set up now that I'm using for 14. I should have set one up for this game too. That would have been pretty funny, right? That's fine. No worries, no worries. Alright. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Byrde. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ah, bitter. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? Ah! What's wrong? Nothing. It's just whenever I addressed you in the previous trial, your response was, "You was talking to me?" It was a little, well, intimidating. No, that wasn't me. That was the phony Phoenix. I see. So our trusty Phoenix Wright is back with us now, is he? Our trusty. So, Mr. Godo, your opening statement, please. Mr. Trite, whether you're a fake or the real deal, we will find out soon enough through this trial today. I can already tell you! I'm the real Phoenix Wright! I wasn't questioning whether you're Phoenix Wright or not. I was questioning whether you had studied law or not. Ow! Fairness? Never. Never. That's what I intend to find out. There's no denying it. Behind that mask is a man who really hates me for some reason or another. As everyone is aware, the court has already given its verdict on this case once. Therefore, I won't stand for irrelevant testimony during this retrial. Nor will I stand for a simple repetition of the evidence presented in the last trial. Not planning on repeating anything that phony me said. Trust me. Now then, Mr. Godot, please summon your first witness. Let's start with the formalities, shall we? Name and occupation. Witness, state your name for the court. Huh? Oh, sorry, sir. The name's Police Department Detective. Occupation, Dick Gumshoe. My man. Hold on, where am I? There we go. You got these backwards? These right here? You want to flip them? Just flip it. Just flip it around. Other way around, detective. Huh? Oh, sorry! Anyway, I'm the officer in charge of this case since yesterday, sir. Since yesterday? Yeah, the guy who was on the initial investigation's tied up with another case now.
I hope Gumshoe's really got everything under control, for everyone's sake.
I see. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you outline for the court the basic facts of the case? Yes, sir. The victim's name was Glenn Elg. I forgot that our victim was a palindrome. He was a professional programmer. He was on the payroll of Blue Screens Inc., a local company. Hold up. Blue screens for a programmer? I feel like that's like just a really bad idea for a software company name. Like, because the blue screen is the thing that you want to avoid? Blue screen of death, anybody? This is the report. Sorry. This is the victim's autopsy report. Court accepts this into evidence. Glenn's autopsy report added to the court record. Died of potassium cyanide poisoning. Ew. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. And here are the floor plans of the restaurant. When the incident took place, the victim was sitting right here. The poisoned coffee was brought over to him by the waitress. The waitress being the accused? Yeah. The victim died from poisoning almost immediately after he took a sip of the coffee. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other people in the restaurant. Mr. John Armstrong, the owner and chef, and a regular by the name of Mr. Victor Kudo. It still seems to be a very straightforward case to me. Tray beyond floor plans added to the court record. Blueprints of the crime scene. X is the victim's seat. I might want to take a look at that. I'll read you in a second. Let me look at the floor plans. There. I mean, if the other guy was sitting here, you wouldn't have been able to see the other dude anyway. Especially if he was in this seat. Okay. Come, detective. Take up this hammer and nail the defendant's coffin shut with your own 2 hands. He ain't gonna do that. He has a crush on her. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, let's have your testimony. Yes, sir. The incident! When the incident took place, the victim was alone at his table, sir. We understand that the guy, Glenn Elg, was listening to the radio at the time. Traces of poison were found in his coffee cup. And what we found was potassium cyanide. That stuff really packs a punch. And, looks like Miss Byrde might have had, well, some kind of a motive. But the motive that they set up is a motive that anybody could have wanted to, you know. So, little flimsy there. Using the dark aromatic depths of coffee to conceal the poison. Classy lady. The facts of this case seem to be ironclad. Mr. Wright, I would ask you to begin your cross-examination, but... Yes? Please, no intimidation tricks this time around. Is that understood? I already told you! That wasn't me! Alright, let's do this. Alone at his table. Press everything. That's how we do. We gotta bluff. Can I stop you for just a minute? Huh? What is it? Did I say something that contradicts the evidence? He's so desperate for that to be true, he's practically crying! Your testimony just now doesn't match the testimony given by Miss Byrde. She claims that there was another man at the victim's table. Yeah, that's what she said. And What killer wouldn't say that when faced with a homicide conviction? Hey! Sadly, her testimony isn't supported by the owner or the other customer. Isn't that right, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, it's true. Their two testimonies tie up on that. And they both said that there was no other guy at the table. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Let's press harder. Doesn't hurt. Well, maybe the other witness just missed him. Perhaps their view of the victim's table was obscured in some way. Ha! That argument is as weak as the coffee at Tribulating. Trite. Hey. I have here in my possession a ticket. A ticket? Looks more like a photo to me. Yes, a one-way ticket to the Guiltyville. Population, the defendant. Alright, buddy. This is a photograph taken from near the entrance to the kitchen. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took us. Sorry, I realized that was the wrong voice, my bad. This is the scene as witnessed by the chef, moments after the poisoning took place, correct? I think the court will agree that with such a clear view of the scene of the crime. How, Mr. Trite, could anyone have overlooked the second person at the table? Ugh. It certainly seems to show the victim's table extremely clearly. Alright. Hold up, I want to look at that photo a little more. I guess the chairs aren't that big, yeah, so... would have been able to see someone sitting there. Alright, he was listening to the radio. He was listening to his radio, you say? Yeah, he had a portable radio in his chest pocket.
Maggie told us that too, didn't she? Something about how one of them had some sort of earpiece.
What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Yeah, press harder. And what was it that the victim was listening to on the radio, Detective Gumshoe? Huh? How should I know? Thanks a lot. We're now one step closer to the middle of nowhere.
This isn't going very well, is it?
Detective, could you perhaps tell us about the poison and how it was used? Down in the coffee. So, traces of the poison were found in the coffee cup and nowhere else? Not sure I got you, pal. Was the poison a liquid, or was it a powder? If I had to put it in layman's terms, I'd say it was a powdery substance. So the poison could have been in anything that was on the table. Sugar, salt, pepper. Ha! Do you put salt and pepper in your coffee, Trite? What about the sugar? Vacuum took his coffee black with no sugar. Damn. It seems that the poison could only have been in the coffee. What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? Press everything! Are you absolutely certain that the victim even drank any of his coffee? Huh? What do you mean? According to this file, the poison was found in the victim's coffee cup. But what proof is there that the victim ever drank any of it? Oh, hey, you're right! That's what I was thinking! In case you were wondering, that last objection was for the detective there. Huh? For me? Oh, hey, you're right. You may be fooling the court, but I'm not falling for it. If you have the time to waste, you have the time to present that piece of evidence. That piece, sir? Yes, that piece. What piece was it again? Oh, Gumshoe, you lovable oaf. This! Hey! I do shit! Should I be grateful this coffee's only hot enough to give me first-degree burns? Oh, now I remember. This is the, victim's coffee cup. Yes, the victim's cup. Take a good look at the rim. Oh, yes, it's unmistakable. There is clearly a coffee stain on it. Conclusive proof that the victim did drink the poisoned coffee that was in this cup. You couldn't, like, I don't know, check for DNA? The victim gulped down the bitter death that the weight was brought to him like this. Ugh! For the record, the only prints on the cup were the victim's and the defendant's. Oof. Coffee contained potassium cyanide covering the victim and Maggie's fingerprints. Upon further investigation of the cup, we found a certain chemical substance. Potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide, I've heard of that chemical before. Exactly how strong is this poison, Detective Gumshoe? It's, well, that stuff's lethal! Eat too much and you're history! How much is too much? A lethal dose is 0.2 grams. That's enough to finish that's about enough to finish anyone off. 0.2 grams? How much is that? You know when you swab your ears for wax? Yeah, about that much. Earwax, huh? Sounds like something Gumshoe's got an abundance of. Oof. Such a small quantity of poison could have been concealed anywhere. And, looks like Miss Byrde might have had, well, oh, sorry, we read that already. Hold it! Some kind of motive? Yeah, but if you ask me, it's been blown way out of proportion. Know what my golden rule is, Detective. Check out a bad cup of coffee. You can always get another. Huh? I don't get it. I'm saying we can always get another witness on the stand if we have to chuck you out. So stick to the facts, Detective. Now then, what was Miss Byrde's motive? Come on, Gumshoe! She was. I said she wanted to steal a lottery ticket. I knew it. That's what we heard yesterday, too. It disappeared from the scene of the crime. And it wasn't just any lottery ticket. It was a winning ticket for $500,000. That's a lot of money.
Mr. Armstrong knew about the ticket too, didn't he? But he stole the wrong one.
Then, is it possible Maggie stole the winning one? What should I do? Should I press on this point a little harder or not? We press everything here, in the court of bluffing. Wait a minute! The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared is in no way implicates my client. Ha! I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. That's a $500,000 lottery ticket? One of the female police officers found it when she was conducting a search. Oh, the defendant. What? Order! Order! Huh. She's quite a lucky bird, our little waitress. You will submit that ticket as evidence to the court, immediately. I'd rather keep an eye on that ticket. The way the judge's voice is quivering. Victim's lottery ticket added to the court record. A winning ticket for $500,000, found during a body search of Maggie. This ticket was presented to the court in the previous trial, too. But it feels heavier now, somehow. $500,000, you say? Isn't there a time limit on when you can collect that shit? just a scrap of paper. What matters is where it was found, Your Honor. And that's on Maggie's person, unfortunately. That's enough. The facts of this case seem overwhelmingly clear to me. The defendant had an ample opportunity to commit the crime of which she was charged. Furthermore, it seems beyond reasonable doubt that she did indeed commit this crime. I don't like an old man who knows the score. There is also the matter of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That alone provides a very credible motive. I mean, for that sum of money, even I might be tempted to bend the rules. I don't mind an old man who is weak to the siren call of money.
Not good, Nick. The evidence against Maggie's starting to pile up fast.
Yeah, it's because the court has ruled guilty once already. I'd say it's about time to wrap up this repeat performance. With one final, decisive piece of evidence. It's got more evidence against Maggie? This is the apron of the delightful Miss Byrde was wearing at the time.
Wow, that's not the cleanest apron I've seen.
That stain looks like... Can't be blood, can it? It's probably ketchup. Huh. It seems the star of our play was a little flustered. And somehow spilled coffee on herself. Coffee? That's not exactly the first thing that caught my eye. Of course, the coffee stain isn't the most interesting thing about this apron. No, there's something else that stands out even more. Something else? I presume you mean... Of course, I'm referring to the pocket. The pocket? Search carried out right after the incident uncovered this. Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. Bottle of poison in Maggie's pocket. We actually already knew that that was there because they mentioned it yesterday. In game time, not last week in real time. Yeah, Maggie's prints were the only ones on it. Of course they were. What? Of course they were! Order! 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 The court will accept these items into evidence. Apron added to the court record, worn by Maggie at the time of the incident, has a small pocket but big stains. Potassium cyanide, a deadly powdery substance, bears Maggie's fingerprints found in her apron pocket. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the blood stain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. Can he not see it because it's red and his visor is red? I don't need to be told, just look at it! Well, detective, could this stain really be blood? No way, sir! It's just ketchup, sir. Ketchup! Told you. She must have gotten some on her apron while taking someone their breakfast that day. You could have spoken up a little sooner, Detective Gumshoe. Pull a stunt like that again and I'll have you drink 17 cups of ketchup, witness. Damn. Thought everyone knew what it was already. I figured it was probably ketchup. It's on an apron. Come on. Excuse me. I haven't seen anything yet to make me doubt the last ruling I made on this case. The motive, the opportunity, and the supporting evidence. They have all been clearly established. Well, Trite, it seems you really are a phony after all. You really know how to drive a man nuts. Witness, please continue with our testimony. Describe for the court the crime scene and the findings of your investigation there. The investigation! Crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of a scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him. But we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison. And that was it! There was nothing else missing from the crime scene. You identified the victim and secured your prime suspect. Very good. Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, trite. Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin. The investigation! Alright, press everything again. Scary old man, Detective Gumshoe? There's an old man who's a regular at the restaurant where the incident happened. Ah, we're obviously talking about the same old man. Officers were dispatched right after the report came in, but the old guy still made a fuss. What took you so long? Then he hurled abuse at them, and seeds. Seeds. Ha! It was nothing. I caught each one with my teeth. Guess not even the mighty Godo can avoid being attacked by that guy. The old man was the only other customer in the place at the time. He took his time finding a payphone, apparently, so he was late reporting the crime. They didn't see anyone there. Those two are still saying that they didn't see anyone there, but that's like plenty of time for someone to get away. And plant shit if it was one of the other two. I don't know. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. Oh, we read this already. Press! How long was the defendant unconscious for? The officer got to the crime scene at around 2:40. Maggie was still out cold in the kitchen at that time. It took another 10 minutes or so before she came to. Why was she out cold in the kitchen? That's kind of a weird place to pass out. Considering how the... I guess... I don't know. I don't know. I would have liked to have been on the scene myself. Bet you would have liked to have carried out this research, too. I would have loved to see Maggie asleep like that, all pretty and peaceful. You're a professional, detective! That's Detective Gumshoe, not a professional bird watcher. Save the romantics for your own time, detective. All we need to know about is the investigation. Oops, guess I'm pretty red right now, aren't I? No ID. He didn't have any? Are you saying that it was stolen then? No, I don't think so. The victim didn't have a driver's license or even a credit card on him, pal. All he had was 58 cents in his wallet. 58 cents? How was he gonna pay for his coffee? Yeah, can't believe I found someone with less in their wallet than me, pal. The victim sounds like he was a thoroughly miserable young man. Or some kind of outlaw. Why not give him a bit of an edge? I think I'm onto something here. Figured out who he was quick. Wait a sec. Huh? Did I say something dumb again? Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, right? Yeah, basically. In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly? How? That. He's so let down, he's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. It seems Mr. Glenn L. visited his doctor before he went to Tribulating. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds. That's a reliable enough source for the court. What should I do? Should I leave this alone or ask to hear more? Ask about the prescription bag. So what sort of medicine was in the bag? Well, actually, the bag we found was empty. Huh? Yeah, Completely empty. It was completely empty? Victim's prescription bag added to the court record. Victim got this from the doctor before going to Tribulating. Bag's empty. Ha! You're entertaining an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate, are you, Trite? Now, what happened with the investigation after that, detective? No, we're gonna go back and ask about his health insurance because, you know, why the fuck not? No ID? How'd you know it was him? Prescription bag. No? Can't go back and ask about more? Fine. Lottery ticket and bottle poison. But the defendant had been passed out for a while, correct? In that case, isn't it possible someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket? Hey! Yeah, you've nailed it, pal! Happens to me all the time. We had a department party the other day, and when I got home, I was wearing the boss's shoes!
Objection!
Keep up this crazy testimony, detective, and those shoes will end up down your throat. Sorry. So, Trite, someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket. That's a pretty bold statement. Care to back it up with some evidence? Well, I'd love to if I had any. It appears you have no evidence to support your theory, Mr. Wright. Continue with your testimony, witness. Nothing else missing? So the $500,000 lottery ticket and the bottle of poison were accounted for. Yeah. Interesting. It's true that those two items are accounted for. Wasn't there another lottery ticket that was stolen that day? Oh, yeah. The one the restaurant owner took. He won a whole $1 with it. What a lucky guy, huh? And they're just going to let him get away with it. It was just $1, detective. I guess no one cares when it's that little, except for Gumshoe. If I don't find a hole in this testimony, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. Gumshoe isn't giving us anything to... Gumshoe isn't giving us anything to work with. And we can't find any contradictions if he doesn't give us something. Yeah, that's true. But Maggie and Gumshoe are like Dumb and Dumber. Our only hope is that they were so dumb they missed something obvious. Come on, Gumshoe. Be the dumbest you've ever been. My scary man passed out. Alright, what do we got? Sean's debt. Tender lender. Wheel guard is all smashed up. Photo of the scene taken here from the kitchen. Winning ticket for $500,000. Why the fuck is this empty? Would it be weird to say that this is missing? That nothing else is missing, but then why is his prescription missing? Like, that's kind of fucking weird. No ID. Figured out who he was. Investigation went smoothly. Found lottery ticket. Nothing else missing from the crime scene. As we save. Just in case I screw up a lot. Alright, ready? Objection! Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There's just one small contradiction in your testimony. Aha! Finally! I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will you? You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulating. Where then did the medicine disappear to? Yeah, you are too cool, pal! Indeed. Whoa, hold on a sec. I just thought of something. What if the potassium cyanide was in his meds and then they took that away and it wasn't actually in the coffee? Ooh. That's a thought. Because I don't think they found the residue of it in the coffee necessarily, did they? But it could have been in his meds. And yeah, it is missing. Pretty good, huh? Let's see where that goes. Indeed! Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, huh? The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Godo, what do you have to say to that? That's all. What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic? Otolaryngological? I have no idea if I'm saying that right, by the way. What kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godo? Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say. A war wound? The days before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum. He ruptured his eardrum? Then what on earth was the prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside the ear canal, not to be ingested. Ah, fuck. What? It's mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. They don't give me the fine print, they just give me a brief summary. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is. Very, very fine print. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulating. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication. It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all. No.
Nick, if you don't think of something quick, it'll all be over.
She's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do? We're gonna push it? What else can we do? We bluff. Only moments ago, Mr. Godo made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulating. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime? But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. Objection. You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. Hardly seems like a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. That possibility is undeniable. Arrgh. That's enough. Mr. Godo, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godo, he is steaming. I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there at the restaurant on the day of the murder. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater? Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me.
Yay, good job, Nick.
Hell yeah. The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness. Ha! I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. How many fucking cups of coffee did you already have today, man? Court is adjourned for recess. January 7th, 11:03 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 1.
Phew! That was close.
Tell me about it. I nearly died in there.
That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit.
Whoa, hello, cat. Is it cat cam time? I think it is indeed cat cam time. Look at the cute boy. Behold, a cat. We have a visitor to the courtroom. Good time for me to hydrate. Get distracted by the cat. Enjoy the fur child. Alright.
Looks like we all nearly died in there.
That's not enter. That's enter.
I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could you betray us like that?
Huh?
He said he'd help me. But he totally set me up.
I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. Hey, 21 Snacks, welcome back. What did you miss? Well, we did the beginning of the court trial, but it was just the gumshoe stuff, so not too much. We found out that the victim, Mr. Glenn Elg, which is a palindrome, had a ruptured eardrum, so he was taking medication for it, but for some reason the medication's missing. Ain't that weird? Yeah, she's back. She is our defendant. She was tried once already back in December. It's now January in game time. But her lawyer was a fake Phoenix Wright, so we have an imposter out there who we may have run into, and he looks and sounds nothing like us, so we're just kind of like, the hell, people? Do you not check credentials? Hello? So, yeah, retrial. And we're trying to get her off the hook for murder. Apparently, she served coffee to someone who then croaked to potassium cyanide poisoning, so they think that she poisoned his coffee for a $500 million lottery ticket. Oh, wait, sorry, no, $500,000. Because it's $500,000. Yeah, $500,000. Still a lot of money. So yeah, we're still figuring everything out and how it all goes. And there's a cat here. Okay, here we go. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right?
It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again.
Poor Gumshoe.
So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know?
Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you gonna be able to handle him, Nick? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me. Even those never-ending bird seeds. You are a cute cat. What? No save point. Hold on, let me move Twitch chat up a little bit. Oh shit, that's the wrong window. I'm sorry. Boop, there we go. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Byrde. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take a stand? Oh my god. He's so cranky looking. Name and occupation if you don't mind. My name's Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me, mind you. I can be quite emotional at times, too. We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Ha! Listen, young'un. How much coal do you think there is? What? How much call do you think there is for Kimono Embroidery here? I need to, like, rethink that statement. Kimono Embroidery? That's what I do! Or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe you could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh, yes! I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino. The cat's cute? Yes, he is. This is Chirico. He is very insistent that he is the king over everything. And the reason why the whole world exists. He has a god complex. He's also very soft, so this is kind of nice. Seeds? What do you think these are, I see. So, you saw everything that happened, Gramps? Did I? Oh, yes. Yeah, yes, I did. I saw it all. Please, tell the court. We're all ears. Sure, sure. I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail. He's really getting into this. What I witnessed. A young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That doesn't look like Maggie. Oh, there's someone else in there. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Uh-oh, was there another waitress that we're not aware of? Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. Ha! You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones, huh? Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses and some wireless and spectacles, I tell you! Excuse me? The judge is like, the hell? I thought I was old. What? Listen to me, everyone! Don't forget the old values! Don't let the good old days slip away! Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Oh, this is a good boy. What are you doing? Did you just mess up your mat? Okay, cat. Yes, Your Honor. What I witnessed. Reading a sports paper. So you saw the victim then? You saw Mr. Glenn Elg? I wanted to know if Goodsenbraun retained his championship or not. So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? And at the location in question. There are partitions between tables on the same side of the restaurant, right? So what if there are? If you say that you could see the victim, that means you were sitting at the table on the other side of the restaurant, correct? Ha! I go to that place to drink Javachino! I don't go to sit! I don't remember which table I was sitting at! You mean you go there to eye the waitress? We already established that he likes the waitress costume. Alright. Brought Javachino and put something in it. Mr. Kudo, that is a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw? Victor Kudo never makes mistakes! I dot every T and cross every I! What? Okay. I see. My eyesight's fine! The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving. but his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping out a waitress.
And I saw what the serving girl put into the Javachino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not gonna like it. Press it anyway. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony. I agree. Witness, will you please enlighten us?
Sure.
She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Did she really put that into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy? She took some out of a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar?
Sugar? A small brown bottle like that?
Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms? A bottle like this, perhaps?
Oh, there it is. That's the one.
That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume? So, what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you? And took one sip, was in pain. He took just one sip?
You youngins, you waste everything. Those Javachinos cost $8. In the good old days, we would have drank every last drop, eaten the cup, and then died.
Damn. Congratulations, you have earned the title of battiest man to grace a courtroom. So, it was an immediate death? Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that's possible.
Ah, yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javachino I just drank turned sour in my stomach.
Oh, yes, I know that feeling. And the waitress, I presume she is... That's her, he says. So he says. You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is!
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know! She's practically naked in that uniform!
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear just such a uniform. Even me! Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image. You want your mat back? You're the one who pushed it away. What are you doing? Silly cat.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together.
I guess I got a bit carried away.
Ha! There are other things I recognize about her, too.
Oh, really, my dude? He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Press harder. This is the one. I bet it was a different waitress. Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Byrde or not. Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these are the features that you recognize about the defendant. I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose.
You agree with the judge there? Don't say that again, Phoenix. Yep, very fair. I don't need that kind of mental image of Phoenix in the waitress outfit. Alright. Apron straps were loose and a ribbon in her hair. She does have a ribbon. Alright, let's press that. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face?
Ha! As if I wouldn't remember that!
The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right! I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red!
So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. I guess let's ask about the straps. Mr. Kudo, you seem especially interested in straps. Why is that?
What?
The ribbon in her hair, the straps on her apron. What's the fascination?
Fascination?
Objection!
People of all kinds of fetishes, Trite. We don't need to embarrass the witness. Yeah, we don't kink shame here.
Listen, you young upstarts, I haven't got some six-strap fetish.
Is there any relevance to the witness's unusual love of straps, Mr. Wright? I was just curious as to why he was so fixated on the waitress's straps.
I said I haven't got a strap fetish. How many times do I have to repeat myself?
Very well, continue with your testimony, Mr. Kudo, and make it strapless.
Do you think old Seedy really saw Maggie do it?
Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there.
But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress.
I guess. She makes a good point.
Hey, did I just say something clever?
I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw was really was Maggie.
That's what we have to figure out, Nick.
What do you... Don't knock that down, cat. I'm trying to play with everything on the desk. Alright. Grab my Javachino, put something in it. Put some white powder in there. And then he was like, bleh! Remember her well. Ribbon in her hair. Okay, let's ask about her back this time. You do seem to remember several details about the appearance, most about the face.
Objection!
Unlikely to make a mistake about the face. Ribbon was red. There's more. Ask about the waitress's back. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
Ha! He's got you there, Gramps. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment! I tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw!
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observe from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. And if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
The fuck? You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face, right?
No question about it! I didn't come this far to back down now! Victor Kudo never backs down!
That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay.
This has turned into a matter of pride for old Seedy now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not.
Like I thought, we need some concrete proof of this. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front.
You think old Seedy really saw Maggie do it?
Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there.
But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress.
I guess. We read that already. We have to figure it out. What if we present a picture of Maggie there? Because she has glasses on! Like, that would be pretty damn obvious, I would say. One step of it looked like he was in terrible pain! Servant girl right there. Ribbon in her hair and apron straps were loose. Nothing that caught interest about when he saw her from the front. Cat knocked down his mat. There you go. Oh! All the damn stains on the apron. What the hell, man? Like, how would you not see all the stains on her apron? Alright, ready, guys? Objection! Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this.
Ha! That filthy thing would suit a filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Course I haven't! You think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Huh? Well, you half-witted clot!
Gotcha now.
What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning.
Ah.
And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front.
Oops!
Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this! Ha! Well, well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Are you excited or disappointed? I'm not sure. Listen, Trite. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Byrde. Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. Hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger customer wanted.
Can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out. Very well, let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. About the victim!
He was another of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling his pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. And the serving girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail.
Oh, yes! I hate those, what types who are so vague about everything!
How are we gonna handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. Yep, bluff our way out of everything. That's the way we play this game. About the victim! Alright, another one of those pesky youngins. We're whippersnappers. Spectacles.
My glasses to you! One of the lenses was green and the other was broken. Newfangled rubbish! That's why I remember him so well!
He did have some kind of lens over his left eye, but I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses. He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rival Mr. Goto's sharp appearance. I don't know. We better come up with something sharp and quick. Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about these spectacles. Oh, Judge. Newspaper in his right hand. Rustle, rustle. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it?
That young hooligan! I nearly asked him, can't you even read without fidgeting, huh? How's I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on? I need to find out if Gutzenbaum retained his championship title!
It was his paper, not yours. If you wanted to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own?
What are you looking at me like that for, huh? How dare you? Ow!
Gutzenbahn got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway. Listening to the wireless, which is what he calls a radio. The wireless.
The decadent young rascal! In my day, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless.
Oh boy.
And using an earpiece! It's selfish, that's what it is! I was straining my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it.
Was he that desperate to listen to the radio?
What are you looking at me like that for, huh? You feel sorry for me? Ow, ow!
Serving girl question about the Javachino. You mean the waitress who you only saw from behind, right?
You're one of those, are you? You never let anything go, is that right?
Maybe. Maybe.
What does it matter if I saw her from the front or from behind? My eyes are fine! Ow!
Better not push it until I've got some hard evidence. Pick out the cup with his free hand and took a sip. His free hand?
Yes!
Which hand was that?
Ain't you listening before, cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? His free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand was it? Ow, ow!
Ha! Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has 3 hands. Yeesh! I was only asking. No need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish just one thing. Is he walking over and slapping Phoenix or using force? He's throwing bird seeds at us. The bird seeds hurt, apparently. That this old guy's memory has more holes than a slice of Swiss. I guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony somewhere, huh? Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake and he's ours. Alright. We gotta find... Hey, cat. I need 2 hands now, cat. Sorry. Okay. So here's the sports paper. Left by victim. Doodle is in victim's handwriting. MC Bomber. He was doodling. Sean's debt. Blueprints of the seat. Ooh, crime photo. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Okay, so by where the mouse stain is, wouldn't he would have picked it up with his right hand and then had the paper in the left hand. Okay, so that makes sense, I think. Wearing a broken pair of spectacles, which he doesn't realize is newfangled tech. Oh, okay, so he's saying newspaper was in the right hand, but that doesn't make sense with how he would have picked up the cup. Young man was listening to wireless. Servant girl brought the Javachino. Free hand and took a sip. So do we question... I think the hand thing is what we need to attack here. I would really like it if he mentioned which hand it was that he had picked up the cup with. Because right now that's where the contradiction is. Because in order to make the stains, according to where the handle is, he would have had to pick up this with his right hand, the cup. So, see if he changes anything if I press him again. Sports paper, can't fidgeting, find out who won, his paper, how dare you judge me, ow. Brought the Javachino with his free hand. His free hand. Clothier said he's wrestling the newspaper with his right hand, denied. His free hand. So he's saying it was the left. Whole point is cross-examination establish one thing. Okay. Let's try the coffee cup here. Let's try it. Objection! Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory?
I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory. I tell you nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Care to tell us where this is going, trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left.
Ha! What is this? Kindergarten?
I would like the court to please take a look at this. That's the cup the victim used, correct? Yes, and on the rim you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. Yes, there is a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said that you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Ah!
Got him. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. Where are you going, cat? Stay here. No, don't leave. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from and...
Wait! If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong! I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw.
You still insist on your testimony?
That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh, yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot, you spiky-haired yahoo who are at fault. Who, me?
Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already.
Don't call me old man, old man! Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but... Sure, why not hear a little more? Mr. Godo! This is my 16th cup of coffee. Holy shit, man. Are you okay? Oh, there goes the cat. Let's turn off the cat cam. Whoop. Okay. So this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor.
Left hand or right hand?
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens on his specs.
So left?
He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. Then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand.
We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers. Monitor? You mean like a television screen? The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HD, TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad! But they don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth!
It's true, he doesn't seem to be lying.
And those are the facts! Good old black and white!
Left hand or right hand? Press everything! So the victim was wearing an HMD.
HDTV, CD, DVD, what does it matter?
It was none of them, actually, but anyway. And you're sure that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side?
No question! I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting.
Only the left, okay. Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. From the opposite table, he'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head.
He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it.
So, I forgot to press it. I'm dumb. I forgot what we were doing. I'm sorry. My bad. It seems he kept an eye on Mr. Glenn Elg.
He was getting on my nerves! Rustling that newspaper and fiddling with his earpiece all the time. And then he went and made all that fuss dying from one sip of Jovicino. I wanted to say to him, calm down, you young brat. Just looking at him made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked.
So I take it the victim was a walking ball of nervous energy. Fiddling with it before he picked up the cup. The earpiece you mentioned, which hand did the victim touch it with?
You're one of those people, aren't you? You're the type that uses your left hand to get things out of your right pocket. Or fastens your left cuff with your right hand.
Wouldn't you... I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm like, I don't know if I know how that works, but I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be how it works.
Now the tour guide says, on your right, you'll see the famous blah blah. You're the only one that deliberately looks left. Well, aren't you?
Walking ball of nervous energy, that's you? Hey, sometimes it's okay to be nervous. No, I didn't mean...
Obviously, he used the hand on the same side of his body that the earpiece was in. Ow! 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 Ow!
So if he had the HMD on his left side, then it was his left hand, I guess.
And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand.
Okay. Press it. You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo.
That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you try to play on me.
Looks like he really did see the guy picking the cup up with his left hand. This is a dead end.
Well, Nick, what do you think?
I think the guy's telling the truth. But even so, something's not quite right.
And chuck evidence at him until he breaks.
But if he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? Earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. Kept fiddling with it. Victim got it from... Crime photo? Crime photo. He's facing that way. Yeah, I don't know, man. Victim was sitting there. Doodle is in victim's handwriting. But why was he fidgeting so much?
Says I was trounced and my client was found guilty.
Wore an HMD over left eye, left eardrum was ruptured. Oh, it was his left eardrum. If his left eardrum was ruptured, then why would he put the earpiece in that same ear, right? That's the weird thing here. I'm pretty damn sure. Okay, let's go with that. Kept fiddling with it all the time. He's fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup too. Wearing the earpiece on the same side. Okay. I want to try presenting the photo because it says his left eardrum was ruptured, so it's like, why would he have the earpiece in that ear? Okay, ready? Objection! I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observations of the victim.
What?
You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD.
No question! You can lock me up if I'm wrong. He was his left ear, without a doubt. I could only see what that side of his head from where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo. But the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear. Because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Pretty pigeon!
Is that the pigeon song? Order! 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 This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godo? Single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. Damn, this old man is my drop of milk.
Captain! Are you calling me a drip?
Yo, drip means something else in this day and age. This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim had picked it up with his right hand.
I'll never back down! I know I'm right! The lad drank his Davicino with his left hand!
Let me put it out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup, held in his right hand, and then switched to his left. And that's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of coffee.
Objection.
Yeah, take that. Which hand the victim used to pick up the cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The fact still stands. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee. Like this! Sadly, Mr. Godo, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. Godo's trying to bluff too? Yeah, he is. He's taking a page out of our book. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless. Got him. I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce.
Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo. You can't reach me from there. Nice, Judge. Good job. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned. Hold it! Who the fuck?
Wait! If I stop now, where does that leave me?
Leave you, Mr. Kudo?
Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there, I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now.
How is your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do.
I've kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else this court should know.
What? There's more.
Be perfectly honest, might not be anything. But I want another chance! I want another crack at you, you young shark!
Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do
Please say to one final showdown. Final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee.
What have you got to lose, Captain?
I'll give you all the cappuccino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man! That's enough, witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony.
You bet! Much, much quicker!
I can't believe this is happening.
You better get ready, youngster!
I get the picture, just quit throwing those seeds at me, will you? He's gotta be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. How many boxes of seeds does this man carry on him? The Final Showdown.
First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his cappuccino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, hmm?
The fuck? What's that got to do with anything? Is that all?
Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? You're doubting a poor, defenseless old man?
No, we're not doubting you, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling that there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick? Yeah, so what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're a bit of a bird brain. That's why that's all you can think of.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your final cross-examination, please. Yikes forever. Alright. The court generally prefers that the witnesses are sure of themselves, Mr. Kudo.
Noisy Brit! I'm warning you, I'm more savage than a macho man right now. You will beat me with this testimony. This is the final battle.
Ow! Ow! He's chucking those seeds harder than ever. Better be careful. Come on, Nick. Nail him. Nail him with what? The court has already heard that testimony, Mr. Kudo.
I know that. I was just setting the mood. How else am I supposed to build up the suspense,
The suspense?
Yes. Now, what do you think? Should I work the audience a bit more?
No, no! Please continue, Mr. Kudo, as quickly as possible.
All right. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the young boy slumped over the table and...
upset the vase. Vase, you say?
Yes, there are vases on all the tables in that place. There are accidents waiting to happen. They're practically begging to be knocked over.
Well, he's right about there being vases. I do remember seeing them, too. There was a vase on the table when I ate lunch there. And you saw the moment when the victim actually knocked over the vase?
Well, it's hard to say. It's a bit unclear. How do you really define?
Okay, I get it.
I heard it break, and the side of it is burned into my memory as clear as day.
Broke, strips of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Soaked in water, you mean?
Yes, it splashed me on the knee as well.
You said you were sitting at a table across the room from the victim, correct? And yet the water still managed to splash onto you?
It was cold! I clearly remember it splashing me.
Could the water really make it all the way across the other side of the room? Let's look at the crime photo real quick. No, the vase is like still perfectly fine when he fell over. You mean the vase on the victim's table falling upside down and breaking?
The case turned upside down, and my testimony's turning this case upside down. It's a joke. I just wanted everyone to hear it. What do you think, Captain?
I'm impressed by your ability to waste time. Godo hasn't raised any objections for a while now.
So, you young show-off, with that scrap of information, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. If I lose this one, I'll take it like a man and admit defeat.
He's really giving you the evil eye, Maya. What's the point of this? He's saying the vase fell down when clearly in the crime photo it's standing straight up. So I think that's what we're going to point out here. So, he didn't actually see the moment of the death, apparently? Something's fishy about this.
It's you he's looking at, Nick, not me. It's like he's saying, I triple dog dare you to find a contradiction, youngin'.
Guess I'll just have to rise to the challenge then. Slip. Clumsy idiot knocked the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke this. He knocked over the vase, but it's fine in the crime photo. Ready? Objection! Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
Ha! So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
Lost your tongue, Granddad?
I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch!
Ow! Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night.
Ah!
What is it now?
I just remembered something.
Yes? Go on.
The broken vase! It was on my table!
Lord. What?
Ah, well, you see. It startled me when that young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
The vase on your table?
Yes, it was on my table. And that's how my grind gear to be completely soaked.
So he just wasted all everybody's time. Okay then. Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all?
Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo.
Ah, wait a minute! That's the case, there's more! I've got more to say! Oh, yes, I remember something else.
Stop! Bailiff! Escort the witness out of the courtroom.
Wait! Listen to me!
Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked. And I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. Nice. Buy us some time. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear.
Wow, Nick, you did it.
I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor? The witness we just heard from. He is most insistent that his testimony should be of use. So he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Kudo's really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Is it because he can't drink any more coffee because he promised not to drink more than 17 cups a day? Is he having caffeine withdrawals and getting cranky? Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Gooder's. Yes, Your Honor. Victor's testimony. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry? This isn't a piece of testimony, more like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies? That is all. This court is adjourned. I'm sure it's gonna come in handy later for something. No idea what, but something. Yes, let's save. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. We had Gumshoe and a crazy old man. Good who actually didn't have a cup of coffee when it showed him a second ago. Nice. January 7th, 12:52 p.m. Wright and Company Law Offices.
So how do you think the trial went this morning?
How do you think it went?
Got a bit crazy in there. I just wonder if that killed our chances.
Yeah, I guess it did get out of hand. Mr. Kudo's testimony did nothing to help us. Plus, now we don't even know the identity of the waitress who laced the coffee.
All we know is what Mr. Kudo saw. The apron straps and the ribbon.
And that the victim was wearing an earpiece when his eardrum was ruptured.
Talk about a terrifying case of contradictions.
Time to play doctor and find ourselves a cure then, huh?
Yeah, we've got to find one for Maggie or she's gonna have a terminal case of guilty.
Talk to Charlie! How are you doing, Charlie? Charlie, a quite decorative plant. He's sort of a keepsake, something to remember Mia by. Sure, the office is a mess, but I never forget to water this little fella. Always check on Charlie. Alright, let's talk to Maya. Well, I'm officially at a loss as where to start.
Yeah, me too. Let's try some brainstorming. You go first.
I guess we should try to put Mr. Kudo's testimony to some sort of use.
Yeah, that's true.
And we need to figure out the identity of the waitress and who the victim really was. Somehow I think the key to this case has got to be at Tribulating.
Well then, let's go back there and check it out again. Oh, we should drop in on Maggie and see how she's doing too.
Sue, anything on your mind?
Actually, there is something. I was wondering about Zinniup. You know, like what he's like and stuff.
She says Zinniup. I want to say Phoenix wrong. Right? Because, you know, we're Phoenix right, so he should be Phoenix wrong because he's the imposter. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that guy. How the fuck does anybody think that's us? I ought to beat you so hard, I'll feel it'll feel like you were smooching the express train. Phoenix Wright? You saying you Phoenix Wright? Cause I'm Phoenix Wright, the one and only. Actually, I've learned a little something about my doppelganger.
Huh? You did? What did you find out?
Oh, yeah, Maya was working at the restaurant when I ran into Don Fonione? Let's just say he was such a terrible version of me that I wanted to sue for defamation. What's that guy's story, anyway? What does he have to gain by impersonating me? Weird. Let's go see Maggie first. Let's see how she's doing. How you holding up, girl? January 7th, Detention Center Visitors Room. Guess Maggie's still in questioning.
But we've got questions to ask her, too. Maggie! Maggie!
Keep it down, Maya. This isn't a playground, you know. Oh, Maya, you're so silly. To Tribulating. Let me check something real fast. Okay. January 7th, Tribulating.
Empty, as usual.
Yeah, and it's lunchtime, too. That's it! Come on, come on, come on! Hey, that sounds like... Oh. It was Gumshoe. Now just call an 8, pal! Come on, I know you can!
He's
getting really worked up about something. No, that's the wrong number. Ah, looks like an 8 would have only netted me about $5 anyway. What a rip-off.
What's the problem, Detective Gumshoe?
Huh? Oh, it's you. I was just... I was just listening to the radio, pal. To the radio?
Hey, Detective Gumshoe's having lunch here.
He is, and he's having the twin tea set. That tasted horrible, by the way. We ate here, and the food was terrible. It was sad. I'm sad for the waste of nice ingredients. What can I say? Oh, Gumshoe. Should we look around? Fashion magazines in French. Is there anything new to look at? Oops, nope. Slide on over. A coffee stain. This must be the table where the murder occurred.
I guess so, with all this police tape around it.
And the stain must be from the poisoned coffee. Oh, yeah. Don't lick the tablecloth, Maya. And she's like, I'm not a cat. Okay. I don't think there's anything new for us to pick up. Let's just talk to Gumshoe. Today's trial. This is a nightmare. How am I supposed to look Maggie in the eye now, pal?
You really drove her into a corner, you know.
You always blow apart my testimony. Why, of all days, didn't you do it today? Sorry, there just weren't any holes in it for once. Yeah, Gumshoe, you actually did a good job. Yay?
Yeah, what happened? Usually your testimonies are like Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese? Do you prefer crumbly like aged Parmesan? Anyway, this case has already been ruled on. There shouldn't be any holes left to find. So, did Maggie say anything to you? About me, I mean.
Well, how did she put it again? I can't believe Detective Gumshoe! I hate him, sir! I mean it! I don't ever want to see him again! Something like that.
Ah! Oh, poor Gumshoe. Our poor boy.
Please, Detective Gumshoe, I didn't mean...
Why? Why is this happening?
He's banging his head against the wall, Nick.
Oh, man, poor Gumshoe. Don't hurt yourself, dude! Oh, our poor Gumshoe! Lunch special. So, did you like the twin tea set? Never paid that much money for lunch before. I was so nervous my hands were shaking.
So, how did it taste?
Well, $20, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, really. It was delicate.
Delicate?
You mean you liked it? It didn't taste bad to you?
What's the matter with him?
Looks like he's thinking. That's it! I've been trying to think of the right word to describe the taste. And I just realized it's bad! That's it! It tasted bad! Just kind of hard to admit it to yourself when you paid $20 for it, you know? Even Gumshoe thinks it's bad, it must be really bad. Maybe he should have found out about the price after he finished eating.
Hey, Nick. Maybe that's why Glenn came here. Maybe he heard about the super fierce twin tea set.
If by fierce you mean fearsome. Speaking of Glenn Elk, that reminds me. We still hardly know anything about the guy, except that he only had 58 cents in his wallet and no card, so why would he come here when he had no money? That's weird.
Why don't we ask Detective Gumshoe what he knows, seeing as he's here?
The radio.
So what were you all excited about earlier?
Huh? That's right, you said you were listening to the radio or something. Oh, that was nothing. I wasn't excited.
Come on, Detective Gumshoe, you can tell little old me. What were you listening to?
Nothing really. It was just the daily exercise show. Bruh! What the? A psych lock? Really, Gumshoe? come on! This lunch special lobster sure is great!
Why are there tears in your eyes?
Bruh! Alright, first tell me about Glenn. This guy was a real programming genius. They called him a walking computer at the place where he worked.
What happens when he crashes, though? Does he just stop moving all of a sudden?
Ugh. He wasn't literally a computer, Maya. Anyway, there's nothing between Maggie and the victim. Yeah, that's what we found out yesterday, too.
Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Don't you have any information that's a bit more fun?
Fine! Oh, I know! So, have you paid a visit to where Mr. Elg worked yet? Might as well.
His workplace? Where's that?
A computer firm called Blue Screens Inc. or something like that. I, once again, think that is a terrible name for a computer company.
Sounds like a real stable company.
That's not what a blue screen implies, but alright, we're just gonna roll with it.
This could be fun, Nick. Let's go.
Computers aren't really my thing, Maya.
We'll be fine. I know all about that high-tech stuff.
This from the lady who couldn't figure out how to turn on the computer when she got kidnapped so she could send us a message. I wonder about that. It's just around the corner from this joint. You should take a look. A computer firm called Blue Screens Inc., huh? That's Magatama, this fool. Oh, Gumshoe. The radio. Alright, Detective Gumshoe, tell me the truth. What were you listening to? No way, pal. Now that you've made a big thing out of it, I'm not gonna tell you. We'll see about that, pal. Considering all the noise you were making while you were listening, it's pretty clear what kind of radio program it was. I'd say it was related to sports betting. Yeah? I'm gonna go with sports betting. Sports! Well, Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, that's it, pal. You got me. You sure or something? Nope, that's not it. I wonder if there's something else that I need. How come I'm still seeing the lock? Guess I was wrong. Oh well. It's fine, I'll gotta go pick something up later. No, what was it he was shouting when he was listening to the radio? Just call an 8 pal. Oh, the lottery! Wrong number. My bad. Sorry, I guess I wasn't paying that much attention. Seems so obvious, I'd better ask him again. Don't tell me you're not through yet. Considering all the noise you were making while you were listening, it's pretty clear what kind of radio program it was. It was related to the lottery. I'm right, aren't I? You were listening to the lottery results, weren't you? You thought you'd try to win big just like Glenn Elg did. It's like you can see right through me! Huh? Cracked him already? Hey, pal. That's why I said it was nothing! Why were you hiding it? Yes, boy. Oh, shit. Sorry. The radio! I'm usually pretty lucky, so I figured I'd give it a try. What's with everyone in the lottery?
So, how'd it go?
I won 50 cents! It'd be better to win nothing at all than have a lousy buck. Than half a lousy buck. I was so mad! Yeah, I know the feeling. Bought the same kind of ticket as Mr. Elg, see? And they've got this special radio show where they announce the winning numbers. They even do the drawings live on the air. It's intense, pal.
I bet that's what Mr. Elg was listening to on the day he was killed.
Yeah, what time is it now? It's just after 1:30. And are the lottery results always broadcast at the same time? Yeah! Look, I got this flyer when I bought the ticket. Millionaire radio flyer added to the court record. Experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m.
Millionaire radio? That sounds cool. I want to try it, Nick.
Then buy a ticket, Maya, with your own money. Hold up. Time of death was between 1:30 and 2:30. They didn't report the crime until 2:25. That's when Mr. Kudo saw everything go down and then called at 2:25. Oh, but he went to go find a payphone. But it shouldn't take him an hour to find a payphone. That's a little fishy. That's kind of fishy. Okay, well. Want to tell me more? Apparently everyone's listening to the show now.
That's because everyone wants money.
I say the victim, Glenn Alg, was really into gambling.
Yep, can't beat gambling. I love it too. I won $500 last night playing cards with Nick.
What? My money? What? Huh? We're playing for money?
Of course, so you'd better pay up.
You're a smart one, waiting for a cop to be present before asking for the cash. Damn. Damn. She's fucking savage. Alright, well. Should we check out the kitchen? January 7th, Tribulating kitchen.
Huh? Mr. Armstrong's talking to someone. I'll be back next month.
Oui, naturellement. I'll be waiting for you.
If you haven't got it by then, I'm afraid it might get a little hot around here.
No! I'll have everything ready, I promise!
I love fire, you know. I love the way it crackles.
No, stop it, I beg you!
Then don't let me down. I'll be watching you.
Who this? I don't know, that's a good question.
Mais non! This is not necessary. You can trust me, mademoiselle. Talk to anyone, and I'll drive a knife right through your heart.
Oh no! You don't have to worry. You know, you worry far too much. Maybe this will help you relax. It is la oil of sandalwood.
I do love raw meat from time to time. I'll be taking my leave. Goodbye for now.
Oh, creepy girl, fun. I have the shivers. I must rub some of my oil all over my body before I become a nervous wreck. There! Oh, oui! That feels good. Ugh. Oh la la! Excusez-moi, monsieur. My eyes! My eyes! Your eyes? If you have trouble with your eyes, you need this. La oil of the sandalwood. Isn't this just the leftovers of what you were just using? Tell me about Tribulating. You don't exactly have many customers, do you, Mr. Armstrong? No, you are right, monsieur. But perhaps that is the perfect time for you to visit me, no? That way, I can give you my undivided attention, and cook for you la dish supreme. Putting on a brave face, huh?
That's what girls do, Nick.
But you are right. Business is very difficult these days. Perhaps the name is le problème. People do not understand it. They think it is trade. I just wanted people to think that my restaurant was exclusive. But they think you just serve fast food on cheap plastic trays?
Nick, that's the kind of thing that can make a girl cry.
Have you forgotten that Mr. Armstrong is a man, Maya? But this restaurant is my life. It is everything to me. I will defend it to la finale. No one will take it from me. that woman just now? So, who's that woman you were just talking to?
Oh la la, you saw that?
Well, yes, sorry?
So, who was she? She looks so polite and graceful.
Polite? Graceful?
And she likes raw meat and fires, right?
Maya, those are things to be concerned about.
I'll be back next month.
Oui, naturellement! I'll be waiting for you.
If you haven't got it by then, I'm afraid it might get a little hot around here.
No, I will have everything ready, I promise. Now that I think about it. Hey, Maya, I think it's pretty clear what kind of conversation they were having.
You think so? Well, let's show him that piece of evidence and see what happens.
You owe somebody a lot of money. So long as our paper exists, I am but a delightful angel with the broken wings.
An angel? Doesn't bode well when you think about it.
Oui, they keep harassing me month after month. In the end, I had to give in. I agreed to help them.
Help them? With what?
My fiancé! If I did not owe them the money, I would have refused. But my hands were tied. Please, what did you agree to help them with? No, I cannot say. I tell you, that woman, she will slice me up and eat me with la salad garnish. Yeah, I hope he doesn't mean that it'll literally be sliced up and served with garnish. I'm gonna guess that woman has something to do with your loan contract, am I right? Ah!
Please, Mr. Armstrong, tell us about that woman.
The woman who was here earlier, I take it that she's, Why has it come to this? What a tragedy. Suddenly I find myself so deep in la debt. It is a sign of the bad world we live in, huh? No, I'd say it's more of a sign of la bad culinary skills. The woman who is here, the scary woman. She is from the loan office. Loan office? Is that where you borrowed $500,000 from? Oui, $10 there, it is called.
Catchy name. Just hearing it makes me want to borrow some money.
Please! You must not borrow money from them. If you must, no more than $10. $10? Sounds like your whole monthly stipend, Maya.
Hey, I get a bit more than that, thank you very much.
So, Tender Lender is the loan office you borrowed $500,000 from, huh?
I wonder if they've got anything to do with this case.
Tell me more.
I am a weak woman. When I am upset, I have to buy something nice to cheer me up. Thanks to him loaning me la money, I have to pay back $500,000 now. I'm like a slave. I'm like a slave. I have to do everything that he tells me. Who is this he?
La tigre. Tiger? The tiger.
The tiger? Oui, he is la manager of the Netherlander.
A terrifying man. That big city mobster.
When he shouts at me, my knees are trembling, and his voice is ringing in my ears for 3 days. As soon as I hear the noise of that battered old scooter he rides, I start to cry.
A big city mobster who rides a battered old scooter? Does this guy resemble me by any chance?
Oh, no, no, no! This man has la présence, a most formidable personality. Also, oui, he does have l'espaguette just like you. Oui, there is a resemblance there, I suppose.
Sounds like this loan office is worth checking out after all.
If you want to visit the $10 there, it is just beyond Vitamin Square. Hey, Nick. If you need money, I can loan you some. As long as it's less than $3.
Thanks for the offer. Just be on Vitamin Square, huh? Is it this scooter?
What is it?
Is this your scooter? No. I saw it before in Vitamin Square, you see. Mon Dieu! No! Take it away! Do not show that to me! Talk about an allergic reaction. Coffee cup? About this. Félicitations! Mais qu'est-ce que c'est? Je ne comprends.
Nick, don't just make something up.
If only I had taken the right lottery ticket, I would not have any debts right now. I'd be free.
Look on the bright side, Mr. Armstrong. You won $1, right?
Lack of remorse for having stolen something. Priceless. About this apron. About this. Nope, doesn't know. Okay. No, it's fine, I don't need to know. Crime photo? Nope. Profiles. No, I'm good. Wait, hold on. Never mind. I want to ask you about the old man. Ah, this old man. He's a regular here. My specialty, cappuccino and cold water, is one of his favorites. Was he here at the time of the incident? Oui, he was here. I'm sure of it. When that incident happened, the old man was here. It's a little... I'll put a thumbnail on that and come back. Attacking that. Well, I'm gonna head back to the precinct now. We've got a big meeting starting in a bit.
About Maggie's case, you mean?
No, that's pretty much wrapped up now. There's another big case going down at the moment, so she's been pushed aside.
Okay, well, see you later then.
Bye! You better get going, detective, or you'll be late. Actually, I, kinda got a favor to ask. It's a big one! Do you need bus fare? A favor? Yeah, it's for, Maggie, actually. I was kinda hoping you had to give this to her for me. Did you make her a lunchbox? Oh, that's so cute.
What is it?
It's a lunchbox. I got up early so I could make it. Aww. I've been real worried about her. She looked like she'd lost a lot of weight.
Detective Gumshoe. How many weenies are in here? There's not a person on Earth who could down this much meat.
You think? I love weenies. I can't get enough of their tender juiciness. So will you give it to her? Took me ages to make, so please say you will, pal. It's just half weenies and half rice, my dude. I can't exactly say no, can I? Gumshoe's lunchbox given to Maya to carry. A tenderly handmade lunchbox. Fills the stomach with love and plenty of weenies.
Maybe I'll eat it myself if I get hungry.
Don't do that. Don't forget, okay? Counting on you to give that to Maggie. He's finally gone. Right, to Vitamin Square. January 7th, Vitamin Square.
I don't see any sign of Mr. Kudo, do you?
Maybe he went to buy another ton of bird seeds. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't be here anyway. At least not for now. Besides, any more seeds today and I'm liable to turn into a real phoenix. Ooh. The scooter's back. It's all banged up.
Hey, check this out.
I wouldn't get too close to that if I were you. Otherwise, you might be in for a shock. My phony must be lurking someplace nearby. Just imagine, a tiger loose in the city?
Meanwhile, the real phoenix is like an abandoned chick lost in a vast urban jungle.
You're not wrong. Little sad.
Huh? Don't worry, someday you'll grow up and be a ferocious tiger too. don't lose hope.
Why is she trying to pep talk me into becoming my phony? Look at all them birds.
Hey, look, pigeons.
Yeah, and heaps of them too.
Did you know that pigeons are a symbol of peace?
That's a dove, not a pigeon.
Poor things. So they can't be symbols of peace and harmony just because they're gray? Is that it?
You're thinking this one by just a smidge, Maya. Right, well, nobody's here, so let's go to Tender Lender. Win through compromise. January 7th, Tender Lender.
This place gives off a really strange vibe, doesn't it?
Looks like the tiger isn't in his lair. And that is, as they say, a very good thing.
Welcome.
Talk about a creepy voice. It makes your soul want to shrivel up and die.
You're here to discuss a loan?
No, not exactly.
The manager is away at the moment. Wait quietly, please.
She is creepy.
She's gone, just like that.
I guess we'll just have to come back another time.
But this is the perfect opportunity, Nick. This place reeks of suspicion. Come on, Nick. Let's take a look around, okay?
Do you think it'd be okay?
Of course. No one will ever know. Coffee? Ah! I'll leave it here for you to enjoy. Quietly.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Do not touch the desk. Please. Nick, let's get out of here.
Now she wants us to get out of here? No, we're gonna snoop.
What's this?
It's a punching bag.
What? No way. You wouldn't catch me walking around with a bag like that.
What do you mean, walking around?
The design's gross to start with, and it's way too heavy to be practical. And why is it called a punching bag? Don't people know messenger bags are in? I knew it. I was right before back at Tribulating. Paris fashion is more my thing.
I really, really hope she's pulling my chain on this one.
Let's see. This round doll thing is called a Daruma, I think. I figured I'd read a book or two and be more cultured in case you're wondering.
You mean you aren't making stuff up for a change?
But you also didn't know that no matter what, he'll always right himself. Come on, Nick. Give him a good shove.
Only if I feel like dying.
Now this yellow thing? This is a Japanese chess piece, I think. I think it's a king? Not that I'm an expert or anything. I'm more of a reversey person, you know?
Assuming she knows what she's talking about, these aren't exactly your typical mobster wannabe items. Not trophies, are they? Ooh.
Hey! There's a piece of paper sticking out from under here.
What is it? A repair bill? Looks like he did some repair work on his car. Does he even have one? $15,000 to replace a bumper and a light? That's insane.
The car's registered to... Cadaverinis?
Huh. So it's not even the Tiger's car? Why would someone else's repair bill be in the Tiger's office? Repair bill, a car repair bill for $15,000 paid by Tiger to the Cadaverini family. This sounds like a way to pay off someone to get rid of a body for you. Win through compromise.
I wonder what that's supposed to mean.
Must mean something if they took the trouble to frame it like that.
Yeah, well, it still doesn't make any sense to me. Ah! That's Tender Lender's guiding principle. Oh? Compromise the customer to win. Oh, I see. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, well, as long as we don't have to compromise my hair, I'd say we're okay. That's one slogan no business owner should ever explain to their customer. Ugh.
Hey, Hey, look at this Parisian-style coat. It's so chic.
It's more like a pimp coat to me. Guess I haven't got an eye for fashion.
Hey, look at this. This suit is the same color as the one you wear, Nick.
Same color as my suit?
Ah!
Keep your voice down, Maya.
Nick, you gotta take a look at this. Some cake? Ah! I'll just leave it here for you. Yeah, sure. Thanks. Just wait here quietly. Otherwise...
Sure.
Hear that, Nick? Wait quietly, she said.
Yeah, sure.
I have my eye on you. Only so I can take care of you. Understand?
She's scary.
Ah, I'm scared, Nick.
So? What were you getting so excited about before?
Look on the lapel of the suit.
That's an attorney's badge, a really shoddy one made out of cardboard. Dude, what the fuck? Why didn't anybody check this?
Is the tiger a lawyer?
No way, look at this thing. It's made of paper. Paper badge added to the court record. Found a tender lender, made of cardboard and painted to look authentic. That does not look very authentic to me. Do these people not have eyes?
For some reason, your badge suddenly looks really cheap to me, Nick.
What the fuck? Why doesn't anyone recognize an obviously fake badge when they see one? What's this on the floor?
Oh no, someone's dropped the ashtray on the floor. That's gonna be a nightmare to clean up.
Yeah, it's all over the rug and everything.
I accidentally knocked over a really big space heater once. Cleaning up was such a pain. It was one of those super antiques where you have to burn a ton of charcoal.
How did she manage to knock one of those over? Aren't they supposed to be super heavy?
Oh hey! There's a book of matches here, too.
Matches, huh? Places don't give those out much nowadays. Hey, wait a second.
What is it?
The book was printed on its cover. It says Tribulating. Tribulating matches added to the court record. Matches used for advertising found lying in tender lender. These matches could come in handy. We might be able to use them.
Yeah, the pilot light for the office boiler keeps going out.
Swing and a miss, Maya. Swing and a miss. That's one impressive desk on one impressive rug.
It's solid gold, Nick. Gold! Just look at that shine. Only real gold shines like that.
Would you really want such a shiny desk, though?
I don't know, but let's see what it's like to sit at a solid gold desk. Wow, I'm completely dazzled.
That's because it's completely dazzling.
I can see up my nose in the reflection. That's gotta be really distracting.
So the desk isn't practical. No surprise there. Are they just shoving things in their pockets? Yeah, that's what we do. We go around to places that we don't belong and we just steal shit because apparently that's not totally illegal here. I don't know why they let us do these things. There's a CD player on the desk, but the desk is so loud it's a wonder you can hear it.
The lid's open. I wonder what kind of music the tiger's into. Have you finished the coffee?
Ah! Yes, thanks. It was lovely.
So, you drank it all?
Should I be scared?
If you touch anything else that doesn't belong to you, there's always another cup.
That coffee, it was laced with something. I'm almost sure of it.
Nick, my stomach, it's killing me. Oh, wait. Maybe it was just the burger I ate for breakfast.
I sure hope so. Better take a look at that CD while we're still alive and have the chance. What the?
What? It's not the Rocco soundtrack, is it? Claw the Tiger?
It's a demo CD. The artist's name has been handwritten on the disc in the pen. MC Bomber.
What?
The This must be the CD Maggie told us about.
Let's listen to it. I bet it's heavy metal.
No way! That woman will make us drink more coffee if we do. MC Bomber CD added to the court record. Found at Tender Lender. A sample disc with a name written in marker. Ah! Holy shit, that's going on for a while. Choir.
Ah!
Come out from under the desk, Maya. What used to snoop around my office for? Nothing, we were just... Ah! My precious carpet! You've got ash on my rug! That's a lot of A's, yeah. You're gonna wish your ugly feet never came through through my door! It wasn't us! It was already like that! Just wanna argue with me? Is that what you're doing? You think you can take me on? I'm gonna flatten you two into pancakes and turn you into my new rugs!
Ah!
Oh.
Don Tigre, you're back.
Ugh, that voice. It's like evil seeping into your head through your ears.
I'm sorry, Don Tigre. I knocked over that ashtray earlier, and...
Yeesh. Has she got a death wish or what? Whoa, right! Huh? Forget about it, Violetta. It's nothing. What? Wait, what? What? I ain't gonna get mad at you because you too cute, you hear? That's so unfair.
Here, have some cookies. I just baked them. And you'll need some strong espresso while you're discussing your loan.
Ah! Phoenix Wright! Yes? You'll see that crazy or just plain stupid to chase after me. I worked so hard, but now you's gonna come and mess up my plan? So it was him. He's my phony. Hey, I don't care. No one gets in my way. What? I mean, excuse me? You should have left a little girl at home, right? I have a few things I want to ask. He roared, and then Maya goes, ah! No questions! This is the last time we'll meet. Wait, please!
That was pretty weak, Nick. You waited until he was out of earshot before you shouted after him.
Like you're one to talk. I didn't hear you scream hold it either.
The espresso. Ah! And cookies.
This woman is definitely not good for my heart. Now, what was it the tiger called her? Violetta? Did we look at everything already? I think we did. Alright. So tell me about Tender Lender. So, I'm kind of curious about your company, Tender Lender.
With warm and friendly atmosphere you'd expect from a family-sized business, a conscientious rate of interest, and an attractive repayment policy.
Why do I get the feeling the sentence is not going to end well?
We'll tenderly lend you that little bit of extra here at Tender Lender.
Hey, Nick. Things are a bit tight for Wright & Company at the moment, aren't they?
I mean,
there's that $500 you owe me from our card game for starters.
Why do you take out a loan?
Would I like to take out a loan from a place like this? Not so much.
Tender Lender is on your side.
So, let's say I'm late with my repayment. What happens then?
We'd give you more coffee. Strong coffee.
Right. I think I'd rather skip town.
Hey, just remember I can make strong coffee too, Nick. Strong tea as well.
I don't think that's what they mean, Maya. So, do you know about the incident we're investigating?
What incident? Well, a man was poisoned in a restaurant that's just near here. That incident. Let me see. I was here that day with the manager.
The manager being the tiger?
Furio Tiger. Furio?
Tiger? Tiger? So that's where the tiger thing comes from?
Zinniop's got a real name, Nick. Hurry up and find out more about him.
Oh yeah, here we go. Tell me about yourself first. About this.
More coffee? You must have more.
No, thanks. I've had enough. Really. I'm so thirsty.
I don't leave the office. I can't tell you about anything except Don Tigre.
Can I ask you about the tiger? I mean, Mr. Tigre.
Cookie?
Sure?
How do you like my cookies? I baked them myself. Go ahead, Nick. The honor's all yours.
No. Ladies first, Maya. No matter how I look at this, I just don't get it. What are the tiger and the scary girl doing working together?
We are lovers.
That's not exactly coming across in your tone of voice.
And I owe Don Tigre my life. He's the one who saved me.
The tiger saved you?
Please, address him properly as Don Tigre. Otherwise, I'll have to.
Okay. Don Tigre, of course. I'm sorry. He saved her life? I'd sure like to know how that happened.
I'm very frail, you see. Just recently I died. Once. You died? About 4 months ago. The doctor said to abandon all hope.
I guess they were expecting her to take a boat ride across the river Styx.
But Don Tigre, he saved me. He gave up everything.
Everything?
When I found out what he had done for me, I was happy.
No offense, but I'm finding that a little hard to believe.
I decided I'd pay him back with my life by serving him coffee and espresso.
I still wonder about what's in her coffee. So, is that why you've got that bandage around your head?
This?
A head bandage, tell me. So what's the story with the bandage?
They put it on after the operation.
Operation?
It's just a little injury. A little fatal injury.
A fatal injury? Maya just suffered one herself by the sound of it. So that's the injury you were talking about before when you said you had died once? Oh, Lord. Well, we need more info.
Ugh, she really creeps me out, Nick.
Same here, but we've got to find out the truth. Want to look at my badge? About this.
More coffee? You must have more.
No, thanks. I've had enough. Really. Can't tell us anything except about Don Tigre. Well... you don't have enough info. We're gonna come back to her later. January 7th, Vitamin Square.
There he is! Old Seedy's back feeding the pigeons again.
There! Take this! Yeah, this! Here, get out of my park! Like I thought, he's really mad. Come on, Maya, just keep your head down and let's sneak away while we still can.
What? Why? Hello, old man!
What are you doing, Maya? Huh?
Hey, he just turned his back on us.
I'm not surprised. I bet I really hurt his pride in court this morning.
Hey, Mr. Kudo.
Pigeon!
Look, we really need to talk to you, all right?
Out with the demons! In with the good fortune!
Ow, 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 ow! Seeds, shell splinters, painful.
I always knew you were a demon, Maya. Tell me about the trial. I'm sorry about what happened in court earlier today. Ha! Everyone'll be talking about me behind my back now. Dirty old man who was so busy looking at the servant girl's backside that he can't remember her face. A filthy, depraved animal. Not at all. Are you listening to me, boy? I don't care what you say. I saw that waitress put it in. She put some white powder into the young lady's cappuccino.
We hear you.
And another thing, that young layabout was wearing an earpiece. On the same side as the lens of his broken spectacles.
We're really sorry.
So I made a little mistake about the vase. So what? I know what I saw. I tell you. Okay, take it easy, please, Mr. Kudo. Now tell me to take it easy, you spiky-eared brat! Take this!
You said you were a craftsman, right?
Modern world casts honest craftsmen like me aside in droves!
Surely it's not that.
I come from a long line of craftsmen, right back to the time of the shoguns. You hear me? I didn't become an embroiderer. I was born one!
Actually, I'm kind of in the same situation myself.
I ought to stick my fingers up that dribbling old judge's nose and scream right down his ear hole. Objection!
Oh, so did you want to become a lawyer when you were young?
I don't think that's quite it, Maya. I think he's just in a bad mood, that's all. I've got a tsunami of frustration inside and it's ready to burst out. If we let him start rambling now, we might never shut him up. What should I do? What if he says something interesting, though, that might help us? Suck it up. Guess I better let him talk. So there's not much call for craftsmen these days, then? Of course not, you idiot! All I'm good for nowadays is running errands.
Errands?
Everyone takes advantage of the elderly. Buy some bread, Gramps. Take the dog for a walk, Granddad. Feed the pigeons, old man. What am I, some sort of 2-bit community handyman?
Well...
Buy some bread. Now that I can understand. What's the point of feeding some seedy pigeons? Why don't people say what they mean? Get lost, that's what they're trying to say. Oh, yes, I'm just an inconvenience, you see. At home, at that restaurant, I just get in the way, don't I? I'm sure you don't. Wait a minute. What did he just say? At home and at that restaurant? Hold up. By restaurant, are you talking about Tribulating? Did you get asked to run an errand there too? Yes, I did! The very day that young brat was poisoned! What? What errand? So, on the day of the incident, what were you asked to do? Glad you asked, boy! Because I'll tell you what I was asked to do! All of a sudden, that young lad slumped over the table. Servant girl collapsed. And I broke that vase. It all happened so fast, I was in a bed of daze, you see. And the owner shouted over to me. Excusez-moi! You call the police. Call them yourself. I should have said... Oh, sorry. Call them yourself, I should have said back. I didn't think of it at the time.
So, did you end up calling the police?
Like I said, I was in a bit of a daze. Did you call them on your cell phone? I look like I have one of those newfangled thingamajigs. I went out looking for a payphone, of course.
You went looking for one?
Couldn't find one right away, you know. Wandered around for 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes?
So for 5 minutes after the incident happened. Yes, sirree! The owner was at Tribulating on his own. Why didn't you mention this in court this morning? Well, I would have if you'd given me the chance. But you all bullied me out of the courtroom. Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You've certainly earned your kudos for today. Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Ah, yes, I remember something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. It's not my fault. You're the ones to blame. You could have at least told us before we got to court.
Is it really that important that Mr. Kudo was the one who called the police?
Yeah, the timeline's fucked up. What's important is the unaccounted time before the police arrived. The victim was dead, and Maggie was unconscious. Which leaves that man alone in the restaurant. Mr. Kudo might have been chased out of the place on purpose.
What do you mean?
Maybe a certain someone didn't want him in the restaurant.
Ah.
Oh, sure. You go ahead and say I was in the way as usual. I suppose I should have been getting myself covered in pigeon poop instead, We need to get more details about what exactly happened. From Maggie, and from Mr. Armstrong. Interesting. Would you mind taking a look at this? Excuse me. You let me get 1,000,000 of my grumbles off my chest and I'll take one quick look. I've got an earthquake of frustration inside and it's ready to rumble! On second thought, forget it. Getting grumbles for one quick look doesn't sound like a good deal for me. The timeline is way off because he called at 2:25, which means according to him the incident happened at 2:20. But if the guy was listening to the radio for the announcement, that would have been at 1:30. So there's a lot of unaccounted time here. Something is very sus here. Did you see her? Nope, okay. Right then. Let's go back to Tribulating. I need to take a very quick BRB. I'm gonna go make some more tea real quick and take a quick bathroom break. So let me play a quick little ad break, 30 seconds, and then you can just listen to this lovely music and we'll be right back. Y'all, well, I'm back. We're back. My tea is brewing. Rather steeping. That's the word, steeping. That's the one I was thinking of. Let's continue on, shall we? The night is young. We'll go until my voice goes out. Or maybe we'll switch games when that happens. Alrighty. So he said that we want to talk to Tribulating and Maggie. We still need to go to blue screens. So what I'm kind of thinking, the timeline is so far off, and clearly Maggie was passed out the whole time. So, and you know, just from our point of view, Phoenix can't see this, but like in our visual view of what Mr. Kudo saw, that definitely looked like Violetta, who was serving the coffee. So, what if it was a setup and there were two incidents? So first of all, the real incident when Glen Elg actually died, and that's like when Maggie served the coffee, but like she's not the one who put something in there, someone else must have put something in her coffee and then she just served it. And then he died and she passes out. And then, but there was like, you know, nobody else there, like Mr. Kudo wasn't there yet. And then once Mr. Kudo's there, they do a setup with, my guess is probably fake Phoenix. What's his name? Don Tigre? He was posing as Glen Elg and fidgeting around and like, you know, had the thing in the wrong ear. So they could set up Maggie for it. And frame someone else for the murder. That's kind of the theory that I'm going with right now. Like, I don't have it, like, that's the way I kind of see it playing out. We don't have enough proof yet to know if that's really the case or not. That could be completely off base, but I don't know. We'll find out. Let's go in the kitchen real quick. January 7th, Tribulating kitchen.
Looks like Mr. Armstrong's out again.
But the place is open for business. You can't have an open restaurant without a chef.
Hey, it's not my fault, Nick. Don't take it out on me.
Only a couple of minutes after the incident happened. Mr. Kudo left the scene, leaving Mr. Armstrong here alone.
Missing something. Missing when we need to talk to him the most.
Maybe he's trying to avoid us on purpose? Maybe. We already snooped around there before. Let's try talking to Maggie. January 7th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room.
Oh, Mr. Wright!
Hello, Maggie. So they finished questioning you?
Wasn't it just unbelievable in court today, sir? I'm gonna stay up all night and blog about everything that happened.
Weren't you scared? It was pretty touch and go there.
Yeah, but you totally nailed that old man.
Well, he was all over the place with his testimony.
He's not the only one. Huh? What do you mean? Everyone else's testimonies don't match up either. Not with what I remember of the incident anyway.
Is it possible she's the one misremembering things? No, I'm pretty sure that this happened twice. Once when Maggie saw it and then once when Mr. Kudo saw it. And Armstrong would go along with it because he owes those people money. Contradictions.
Maggie, you know how you said that everyone else provided testimony that doesn't match up with what you remember? Yep, there are just so many things that don't seem to add up. The biggest contradiction is the other guy I saw at the victim's table.
That's definitely Don Tigre.
He was the one who slipped something into the victim's coffee. I'm sure it was him.
But Mr. Kudo didn't testify earlier today. But didn't Mr. Kudo testify earlier today that it was the waitress who put some white powder into the coffee cup?
So you really think it was that disappearing man that did it? Well, he's not the only thing that disappeared. The CD vanished as well. You know, the CD with the writing on it? Oh yeah, the MC Screwdriver album, right? No, I'm pretty sure it's the MC Bomber thing.
It was MC Bomber, Maya. That was the name scrawled on the sports paper as well.
I never did find that CD at the crime scene, sir.
Or the victim's medication. That's gone missing too.
Ouch, my head. This is getting way too complicated for me.
After the incident, you said that you passed out when the victim, Glenn L., collapsed, right?
Yes, it's so embarrassing. I mean, I used to be a cop. When I came to, the restaurant was buzzing with police. And before I knew what was going on, they arrested me, sir.
So between the time the victim collapsed and the time the police arrived on the scene, you have no idea what went on at Tribulating?
No idea at all. Why? Is it important, Mr. Wright?
The other witness, the old man from the park, was pretty much chased out of the picture.
Chased out of the picture? What do you mean? Old CD wasn't inside the restaurant because he was told to go call the police.
Exactly, and you, Maggie, were unconscious. That means Mr. Armstrong was alone in the restaurant for a brief period of time.
No! Yeah, you don't think Mr. Armstrong set me up, do you?
When you consider the facts, it's hard to imagine that Mr. Armstrong isn't involved in this at all.
It's like the master biting the paw of the dog that it feeds. Are you sure about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, the old man said as much when we spoke with him earlier.
I don't know. The things that man says don't add up for some reason, sir.
Maggie looks like she's trying to figure something out.
Maybe we should ask Maggie exactly what she knows about old CD.
No, my tea's not ready yet. Alright, let's ask you about old CD then, per their suggestion.
I feel much better after that trial this morning. I've been a bit of a courtroom proceedings addict for years now. It feels like forever since I saw a witness as slippery as that old man. He's not really that bad of an old man, though. Still, I feel a bit uneasy.
Huh?
I thought you just said you felt much better.
Maggie, if there's something on your mind, you've got to tell us. Especially if it has anything to do with Mr. Kudo or his testimony.
Roger, I'll spill it all and see what you make out of it.
He wasn't there, was he, when she served? I'm pretty sure that's what the issue was. Is there anything about Mr. Kudo's testimony that stood out as odd to you?
Actually, yes. The fact that he was even testifying to begin with doesn't quite...
I knew it! He wasn't there! Ooh, I think I'm on the right track.
Doesn't quite what? Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table... It's true that there was another customer in the restaurant.
Yeah, we know that already. It was Victor Kudo.
But I can't really say it was an old man. Okay, then, how about calling him a really old, middle-aged man? No, age isn't the issue. The other customer was... a woman.
Oh, it was Violetta! Oh, and then she took a uniform afterwards. And then became the waitress who served the coffee of doom. I don't think you're steeped enough. Woman! Are you sure, Maggie?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. So, what did this woman look like? She was sort of creepy. And she had a kind of cackling laugh.
Creepy?
Cackling?
Why do I get the feeling I've come across a woman like that recently? Oh dear.
I know I used to be on the police force, sir. But I'm incarcerated now, so I can't use my connections to help you. All I can tell you about now is info about ex-cons or the clientele of Tribulating, sir. Oh, I don't want to get you down, Maggie. Holy smokes, that's him!
Huh?
That's your phony, Mr. Wright! Just look at that ridiculous suntan!
For the record, I'm not sunburned like an over-dried tomato, so I don't know how...
He told me he'd been on a business trip to Hawaii and that's where he got the tan.
I'm not hearing this. Oh, Lord. Do you know about John's debt?
I know I used to be on the police force, but I'm incarcerated.
Oh, no, she says nothing. She knows nothing about nothing. But you know how bad the food is? No? Okay. Coffee?
That's the cup I took over to the table, sir. But I didn't put anything in it. I could never do something like that. That's right, you could never do anything like that. I'm not good at carrying those large trays, you know. Trying to balance a tray with one hand to put something in the coffee with the other? That'd just be asking for trouble. I'd drop something for sure. That's right.
Is she expecting me to claim that she's too clumsy to have committed the crime? I guess a lottery ticket first, maybe? Let's do that one first. Nada. Okay, got it. Oops. Nope, not done presenting you. Let's do the apron.
Oh, yeah, that's from when I was carrying a customer's breakfast over to them.
Sounds like she had the earlier shift. The ketchup spot, you mean?
My whole face was vibrant and red thanks to that stuff. But you spilled the ketchup on your apron, didn't you? I don't see how... Ketchup-covered omelet went flying and hit the customer in the face. Oh, talk about a tomato-red face. Makes me wish I could have seen it myself. Yeah, I guess. It was kind of a sight to behold. Potassium cyanide? I've never heard of that poison before in my life, sir. Okay, maybe I have. But I've never seen it before, that's the truth. I wouldn't even know where the nearest potassium cyanide dealer is in the first place. Potassium cyanide dealers? Sounds like another group of drug pushers to avoid.
In any case, this definitely isn't something you can pick up just anywhere.
Oh, curse my rotten luck. Criminal must have stuck the bottle in my apron when I was unconscious.
Along with the lottery ticket. Nope, doesn't know anything about the prescription bag. Oh, we should give that to her.
Here you go.
Oh, yeah, I've got something you're gonna love.
Really? What is it?
Lunchbox, just for you. Here.
Wow, a lunchbox. Weenies, too. I can't believe it. Thank you, sir. Did you make this just for me, Mr. Wright? Nah, it was Detective Gumshoe. Who else would make such a nice lunchbox for you? Detective Gumshoe? He's really worried about you. Looks like he put a lot of effort into making this, too. I can't accept it. Detention center rules. No gifts allowed, sir.
Hey, come on, Maggie. Don't be like that.
The rules are the rules. They'll lock you up if you break them.
Somehow when an ex-cop turned waitress says that, it seems a whole lot scarier.
And anyway, I hate weenies.
But you were so excited for them just a moment ago.
Oh, really? It's all yours, Maya. You can enjoy it with Mr. Wright. But...
She's right. It's better than letting it go to waste.
But... I guess so.
Gumshoe's lunchbox eaten with Maya.
Well, how was it?
I hit the spot. I love weenies.
Oh, good. I'm glad I gave it to you then, sir.
That's so sad. That's like super sad. Hey, look, it's the MC Bomber CD. No? Maybe we should go see Gumshoe. I'm sorry, man. January 7th, police station. I completely butchered that. January 7th, police station, criminal affairs department. The main server just went up in smoke! Why the heck isn't the press conference set up yet? The superintendent's already here! Yeah, and there's a problem with the internet, too! I already told you to stop using your computer, Chief! But I'm watching videos online! I'm catching up on my Asian soap operas! Yo, K-dramas and J-dramas are really good though. TBH. It's gonna have to wait, Chief. I'm throwing the switch. No! Just when some young guy was about to confess to his son's hot-to-trot girlfriend. Damn.
Wow, this place is really buzzing.
Something must be going down. Something really big. Huh? What are you doing here, pal?
Detective Gumshoe.
Can't be here right now. You'll be roped into the briefing if you stay. Huh? Got a big problem here today.
Why? What's going on?
It's a virus! A virus! A virus? It's a virus ripping through the precinct's computer system. But I really need to ask you some questions. Okay, I'm gonna say this once, so listen up.
Yes?
No matter how poor you get, never borrow money from a place like this, you hear?
Okay.
If you got money trouble, just go on a diet of instant noodles and hang in there. That's the college way, my dude. We're not thinking about borrowing money, Detective. We want information. How is that all? Well, let's see. Tender lender is considered to be even fishier than the average illegal loan shark. And it seems it ran into trouble just recently. Those guys have been pretty heavy-handed, calling in all their debts.
Really?
Don't go poking your nose around in their business, pal. You'll really regret it if you upset that lady. Alright, I get the picture. Hey, wait a minute. What did he just say? That lady?
Who's this lady he's talking about, Nick?
Better find out what the story is with this lady.
So what exactly is a computer virus, Detective Gumshoe?
I don't know.
What?
Look, I just go with the flow, alright, pal? And here I thought detectives were supposed to be somewhat knowledgeable. What's with that face, pal? You think you know what a virus is? Yeah, I do.
Well, Nick, do you?
A computer virus? Sure. I mean, only in simple terms, of course.
Really? Wow, you know everything, Professor Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Dr. Wright from now on.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool. Don't you agree, Dr. Wright?
Why do I get the feeling they're making fun of me? Okay, fine. I'm no expert, but I can at least explain the basics to the two of you.
What's a virus?
A virus is a program that gets inside a computer and causes damage. Damage? You mean it makes the machine go boom and explode? No, the damage is, well, it's all internal.
So the insides go boom, right?
Maya, please. Imagine all the case data you've got stored on your PCs here in the station. A virus could wipe out all that. That's the kind of damage I'm talking about.
Whoa, that's scary.
Yeah, and what's even more scary is that viruses are infectious.
Infectious?
Most computers are connected together on a network, right? A virus can move from one machine to another over the network. So the virus just keeps spreading faster and faster. Huh, just like a real virus, huh?
But Nick, why would anyone want to make a program like that?
Yeah, it takes ages to type in all that data. Why would you want to destroy it, pal? No, people don't infect their own machines. They send the virus to someone else's.
What? That's horrible.
Oh, I get it. It's like you sneezing on Mr. Godo so he catches a cold.
Right, then he wouldn't be able to turn up in court because he'd be too sick. You really shouldn't do stuff like that, Nick. It's wrong.
I didn't do shit. What the fuck? Who? What? Where? When and why did the conversation jump to talking about me? Anyway, that's what a computer virus is. A bad program that causes damage. And all the different viruses have names, right? Kinda feel like I've heard the name of the virus we caught somewhere before. The name of the virus, huh? I feel like I've heard of it before, too. No, what's the virus name? What were we supposed to ask him about? Something about Tender Lender. Oh, wait, girl. girl? That's the girl who works over at Tenderlander! You wanna stay away from her, okay? I mean it.
She does look kind of unforgiving, doesn't she?
That should be the least of your worries, pal. What's that supposed to mean? What could be worse? Her name's Viola Cadaverini. Cadaverini. Oh. They paid money to the Cadaverinis. She's the only granddaughter of Bruto Cadaverini.
Bruto Cadaverini? Do you know who that is, Nick?
Never heard of him. Bruto Cadaverini is the boss of the Cadaverini family. The Cadaverinis? That's one scary sounding name. Can't touch them. They're way too powerful for the police. But you're thinking of taking them on? Aren't you? No, I don't remember ever saying I was going to. Try to get some more info out of Gumshoe about this family. Tell me about the Cadaverinis. I'm not sure if I really want to get involved in this, but who are the Cadaverinis? What are they? Scary bunch of people, that's who. You're a cop and you're scared? What's that about? Trust me, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a cop. These guys are scary. They've got some serious clout in the criminal underworld. Can't touch them. They've got too much moolah. Moolah? As in, they pretty much control all the cash on the city's black market. Black market, huh? And that includes Tenderlander, I take it? Sure, no one stands up to Bruto Cadaverini. I mean, no one. Interesting.
So Viola's the granddaughter of some mafia boss, then?
Yeah, and everyone knows how much Bruto loves his little girl. She means everything to him. So, how did she end up at Tenderlander? I don't know, pal. But I heard she and the boss of Tenderlander are pretty tight.
Tight?
That's what it said in a file I read related to Maggie's case. Sounds like a pretty important clue. About him. Oh, this guy, the tiger.
Is he famous?
Yeah, this guy's not a loan shark, you know? Nope, he's a big lone cat. Hence the name? Don't pay him back, and you'd be better say your prayers because he'll eat you alive.
You're shaking, detective.
Like a leaf. I'm just, you know, kind of on edge at the moment, if you know what I mean. You didn't borrow money from them, did you? I wouldn't go flashing that photo around if I were you, pal.
Why not?
That guy rules the criminal underworld. You could get yourselves in serious trouble. I'm talking say your prayers trouble.
You're shaking, detective.
Like a leaf. I'm just, you know, kind of on the edge at the moment, if you know what I mean. Not really, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. Paid by Tigre. Why did he pay the money? He doesn't know shit about it. Can't help us if he doesn't have any info. Is this the virus we're talking about? Detective Gumshoe, about this. What? I'm trying to concentrate on Maggie. Ah! This is it! The stupid name! I remember it now! I thought so. Here it comes. It's not a music CD, it's a fucking virus. He was a programmer, he sold them a virus and they killed him. Okay. We have motive.
Don't just nod to yourself and keep me in the dark, Nick. What's going on?
It's okay, Maya. You don't have to cry about it. Name scribbled on that source paper and written on that CD. That's the name of the virus. MC Bomber.
What?
Yeah, the virus that's just infected every computer in the station, pal. It's MC Bomber. Can you give us any more details, please? We already knew about the MC virus virus. We already knew about the MC Bomber virus from a while back. A group of criminals issued a series of demands to the head honchos of law enforcement. They threatened to release the virus if their demands weren't met.
Who are they?
I don't know. Some hotshots from the criminal underworld would be my guess. And now the virus has been released, huh? Yeah, it's in every computer in every public office in the city. Everyone's going nuts! They're hopping around like they're dancing at a carnival.
All this stuff with criminals and viruses. It almost feels like we're in a sci-fi movie.
Apparently the programmer who made the virus was a real genius or something. Sounds like our dead guy. Focus right now is on tracing the root of this virus back to the root of this virus on the black market. Means someone put this virus up for sale? Yeah, because this one's so powerful. We're estimating its price tag was in the millions of dollars, pal. What? What if that's 100,000? Big money. In the millions? A virus can be worth that much? MC Bomber updating the court record, found a Tinder lender, contains a computer virus program. Ah, I can't believe it! I almost forgot the most important thing! And that is... You know, the lunchbox. How did everything go? About that. Lunchbox.
You remember the weenies? I hate weenies!
Oh, yeah, those weenies. So, how did my weenies taste when they went down the hatch?
Huh? Well, it was delicious.
Yeah? That's what you said? Really?
Well, not exactly.
Don't worry about it, pal. I figured something would happen. So I came prepared. Prepared? What do you mean? I made a jumbo lunchbox.
Oh.
Do me a favor again, huh, pal, and deliver this? It sure is a heavy burden, in more ways than one. I can just imagine Maggie's little eyes sparkling with joy when you bring her that.
Weenies again, Nick? Tell me we don't have to eat all these too.
Gumshoe's lunchbox given to Maya. Again, tenderly handmade lunchbox fills the stomach with love and plenty of weenies.
Really can't eat any more.
Oh dear. Don't forget to give that to Maggie, okay?
But they don't allow presents for the prisoners in the detention center, right?
Hey, you're right. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm counting on you to get it to her somehow. I'm a lawyer, not a delivery boy, Gumshoe. Well, that was enlightening. She ain't here. It is time to go to Blue Screens Inc. and see what's up. Alright, January 7th, Blue Screens Incorporated.
Wow, this place is so high-tech. You can almost smell the electricity in the air.
It is a computer firm, Maya. They can't work without electricity, you know? Alright, what kind of voice do we give these guys? Do we go with a nerdy voice or a normal voice? Who are you? Oh, she's very android looking.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. Access is restricted to authorized personnel only.
Oopsies, I clicked out of something. Here we go.
This is a computer programming laboratory. There are far too many trade secrets that could be leaked. Wow, what secrets? Everything you see here is classified. No information can leave this building. Understood.
Who is this woman? She's like a robot from some kind of whacked educational show. Phoenix, please.
My name is Lisa Basil. I'm the company director.
Director? She's human? She seems more like a ghost in a shell. Nice reference. I appreciate it. Nope, thumbs up to that.
And
And that thing over her eye, isn't it the same device as Glenn Elg's?
That's a DMH, right?
Nice try, but it's the other way around. Maya, it's an HMD.
All of my programmers here at Blue Screens Incorporated are supplied with HMDs.
Then do you write programs too?
No, I just enjoy wearing this.
They are pretty cool. I wouldn't mind one. Look at all them post-its.
Wow, look at this mess.
Looks like they're all betting tickets. Ooh.
What kind of betting tickets?
They're betting on which horse will win a given race. They're horse racing tickets.
Oh wow, his drawers are stuffed full of these.
Looks like they're all losing tickets, though. Glenn Elg's losing horse racing tickets gathered up.
This many tickets would get you, what, a buck down at the recycling center?
Hold on, what was the description for that? Horse racing betting tickets found in Glenn Elg's desk. There's over 500 of them. Holy shit, that's a lot.
But I didn't know you were so hard up that you'd try to profit from the dead, Nick.
I'm just taking them as evidence, Maya. What the fuck? Come on. Did he sleep here?
Whoa, look at this desk, Nick. What a mess.
Looks pretty average to me.
But you can't get any work done with everything all over the place like this.
You think? Real whiz kids can work under any condition, you know. She's trying to hint that I should tidy my desk more. I'll clean up my desk when Maya stops asking silly questions. No hurry, then.
Hey, this calendar.
What about it? If this is another hint about tidying, you can forget it.
Someone's marked December 3rd in red pen.
December 3rd? That's the day Mr. Elg was murdered. Is there anything else?
Yeah, it says meet with the tiger.
Hey, there's some good evidence. The tiger! Glenn's calendar added the court record on December 3rd, the day of the incident. There is a note saying meet with the tiger. Ooh. He's really pounding that keyboard, isn't he?
Wow, I bet that's where the pro and programmer comes from, huh? I guess I shouldn't be resting on my laurels. Gotta expand my skill set and all that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe I could become old CD's apprentice.
What about your spirit medium training?
Hey, look, Nick. It's a supercomputer. Looks like it's really smart and wise, doesn't it?
Computers are only as smart as the humans who use them, Maya.
That explains why we don't use the computer in our office.
You work there too, Maya.
Yeah, but at least I'm... Please, don't argue about something that's so trivial. Otherwise, the computer will laugh at you. She said that she'd laugh at us, Nick.
She's a human, Maya, not a computer. Those pillars almost look like they're moving. It's kind of unsettling.
Nah, they just look a bit twisted or warped or whatever word I'm looking for. This office was designed with a futuristic feel in mind. Futuristic? Yes, we tried to imagine what things might look like in the future when we designed it. It helps to soothe and calm the soul.
On second thought, I agree with you, Nick. This place is really unsettling. So, about Blue Screens Incorporated. So what exactly is this firm's business?
I will try to simplify it so that you can understand. We analyze the data management systems required by certain branches of industry, and then deliver the optimum operating systems and source-level components to them.
Huh? You lost me on the corner of analyze and management. Doesn't matter. They analyze stuff. You got that much, right?
The software we produce is distributed on CDs.
CDs?
Yes, compact disc. Digital optical storage media.
Of course, CDs are used for software as well as music.
It is a small firm, but all of my employees are first-class programmers. Let's ask one of them what they are doing. Excuse me, what are you working on right now?
I'm researching something on logical access to variable globals, obviously influences response time and performance of the code something. Variables and memory overheads is vital important to the success of the execution.
Well, you get the idea. This is the sort of thing we are involved in. Did you good people follow all of that?
No. It was slower than old bag, but I couldn't read it fast enough when I'm talking out loud.
Yeah.
Your blank smile just said otherwise, Maya. What happened? You know about what happened, right, Miss Basil?
You mean about Glenn being poisoned? Yes, I know. It's terrible. Can you tell us anything that might be helpful? I don't think so. A police officer was here earlier, too. But I couldn't tell him anything either, because the waitress who committed the crime has nothing to do with Blue Screens Incorporated. Oh.
How about Mr. Elg's desk? Have you cleared it out already?
No, not yet. It's this one, right in front of you. If there's anything that might be useful to you, you are welcome to take it.
I guess there might be a clue here somewhere. We already did that. Do you know anything about this CD?
Would you mind taking a look at this? I'm sorry. That data is super admin restricted, desktop access, password protected.
Byrde? Super admin restricted desktop access password protected? What? This is madness! No, this is Sparta. No, Maya, that is Sparta. She won't tell us unless we say the right code word.
A code word? Sesame!
If it's not Sesame, then it must be your mother's maiden name. That's how it always is. There's no point in having a password if it's always the same thing, Maya. Guess she just doesn't want to talk about this.
Maybe we should focus on asking about Glenn Elg. What do you say?
Sure. About Mr. Elg.
He was a top programmer. I would even say he was a genius. But he did suffer from one or two bugs in his personality.
Oh? Like what?
He was a bit of a loser. Perhaps that would be the best way to describe it. That's what got him into trouble.
What's the matter?
He was a top programmer. I would even say he was a genius. So he was really no trouble at all. A model employee.
Hey, wait a minute! Just now you said something about him being in trouble. Gotta find out what this trouble was exactly. Nope. This is Sparta. Horse racing tickets? Nope. Lord, this is a long sequence when she rejects it. Okay, how about the calendar? Nope, okay. Well, what else can we ask about Glenn? Doodle? No? Okay. Not the doodle. Okay, I'm gonna be right back again. Take another quick bathroom break, and we'll resume shortly. BRB. Alright, we back. See, that was quick. Alright, I don't know what else. Oh, Gwen's troubles. Here we go. Let's go with that. About Mr. Elg. Was he in some kind of trouble?
I'm sorry. Why would you think that?
I thought you said something about it just now. You said that he got himself into trouble because he was a bit of a loser. Hello, Cyclops. 3 Cyclops.
I guess Mr. Elg is like every other man with his own pile of secrets.
Alright, let's try this and see what we need. Glen's troubles! So, how about you tell me what kind of trouble Mr. Elg was in?
I'm sorry, sir, but we don't deal with troubleshooting here. Perhaps you'd like to speak to someone in customer service?
What's she talking about? I guess I'd better just take a shot and see where it gets me. Miss Basil, let me ask you something. Mr. Elg's troubles have something to do with this? His gambling problem?
What is that?
A bunch of horse racing tickets. All losing ones.
With that many tickets, you could get $1 at the recycling center. You good people are very, very bad. Cashing in on others' misfortunes is immoral.
Is that a whiff of hypocrisy I smell?
But what is the relevance of these tickets?
The victim, Mr. Glen Elg, he had a gambling habit, didn't he?
I don't think that's a logical conclusion based on the facts. Everyone likes to go to the races from time to time.
Yeah, but not everyone buys this many tickets.
Anyway, I don't believe that proves anything on its own.
You're right, but I'm not through yet. Mr. Elg's gambling wasn't restricted to horse races, was it? Sports betting. Oh, shit, no, the lottery. Fuck. I keep thinking about the sports, but that's not it. Looks like I got that one wrong. Yeah, I know. My bad. Sorry, lottery ticket. I'm dumb sometimes. Just let me have my brain farts. It's fine. The lottery, horse racing. He bought a lot of tickets and lost a lot of times. That's gotta have hurt his wallet pretty bad, don't you think? Oh shit, she is sweating bullets. Is this what led to him creating the virus, and she's trying to cover it up? Maybe bad enough to be the cause of some pretty serious trouble, perhaps?
No! You are right. Glenn did have a gambling habit. You good people must not follow his example. Do you understand?
Trust me, even if I wanted to, I don't exactly have the money to buy any.
But if you win, there's no problem, is there? And Glenn had a winning ticket, didn't he? For $500,000?
Yeah, but...
It's hard to imagine how he could have been in trouble then, isn't it?
It's true that Mr. Elg won $500,000 in the end. But that was his first stroke of good luck. He was in deep trouble before that.
Deep trouble? What do you mean?
Mr. Elg's real problem was with someone or something more terrifying and ferocious. This dude. Furio Tigre. Furio Tigre, the boss of a loan office called Tender Lender.
Tender Lender? People with businesses should think harder before naming their offices.
Like you're one to talk. Well, what do you think?
Our firm is doing very well at the moment. I don't think we need to borrow money.
No. I mean about Mr. Elg.
You think Glenn had something to do with this Furio Tigre?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't know any connection between the two of them.
Really? Because I've got proof that Mr. Elg and the tiger knew each other. Because he had it on his calendar. Furio Tigre, aka the Tiger, is the boss of a loan office called Tender Lender. This is who Mr. Elg met with on the day of his murder. And the only thing a loan shark would talk with him about would be his debt.
No!
It's true that Glenn had racked up quite a bit of debt from his gambling habit. About $100,000, I think.
$100,000? Ouch.
But I heard he won the lottery, so he should have been in the clear.
Shame Maggie couldn't get a bit of that good luck. Okay. So the guy got lucky and won the lottery. But what if he hadn't won? What was his plan then?
Well, this isn't easy to say, but he said he would use his talents to repay the money.
His talents?
I suspect he was talking about programming.
What computer program is worth $100,000? I know one worth more.
Perhaps you good people should leave so I can get back to my work.
I am so close to cracking her. The program in question, was it by any chance this? MC Bomber? Da-da-da-da-da. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the virus that's infecting computers worldwide as we speak. MC Bomber.
No!
Unlock successful. Hell yeah, and I got my health points back.
Glenn's head had more processing power than any computer, but it had been infected with a gambling virus. Glenn was in too deep.
You mean he was in debt?
Yes, $100,000 in debt. Not an easy amount to repay. So, he said he was taking on some extra work, something a bit risky.
Risky? How?
Maybe he was going to become a waitress at Travion?
Where do you come up with these ideas? Risky extra work. So it's safe to say Mr. Elg was the creator of this virus, huh?
The MC Bomber virus? Yes. It was a work of a genius. In a bad sort of way, of course. But still genius. Something like that would probably fetch several $1 million on the black market.
Inconceivable. Gumshoe was right for a change.
This date, December 3rd, that is marked on his calendar. That was his deadline for repaying his debts.
MC Bomber updated in the court record. Potentially worth millions of dollars. Guess we won't be needing these horse racing tickets anymore. Glenn Elg's losing horse racing tickets thrown back on the floor.
Use the trash can, Nick.
Well, I think that's all we're getting here. You back yet, buddy? Nope. Okay. Let's go see Gumshoe and show him. I don't think we... I got more info about this. What do you think about this? Nothing? Okay, okay, okay. These matches that we found? No? Okay. I would like to know more about the Cadaverinis, honestly. The only thing left to do then is to... go question Violetta. I hope that we have enough. Well, we won't know until we try, right? So let's go check it out. Oops, no, not that one. Move, Travion. And then we gotta go to the Vitamin Square. Did I get everything I need from you? Car repair bill. Oh, where were you? Nope, no, you got nothing to say. I don't think we're getting anything else out of him. Alright, off to Tenderlunder. Tell me about your head bandage, girl. The head bandage. You said that bandage around your head was from an operation? You also said that you suffered a fatal injury to the head, correct?
Yes, the operation was very difficult, apparently.
Now, by fatal injury, you mean you were hurt very badly somehow, right? Did the injury in question have something to do with this? The car repair bill, maybe? Or the scooter? The wheel guard is all smashed up. Let's try the repair bill first. I have here a car repair bill. From this, it seems pretty obvious that this car was involved in an accident.
Let me see that. This bill is made out to the Cadaverinis?
Yes, it is.
I don't think I have introduced myself. Tell me, what do the Cadaverinis have to do with me?
Something tells me she's not about to say hi and introduce herself. Alright then. Your relationship with the Cadaverinis is very strong, and this is why. You're the granddaughter of the crime boss. I know exactly who you are, Viola Cadaverini. You sustained that head injury in a traffic accident, didn't you?
It happened about 4 months ago. I was driving in one of our family's cars when someone pulled out in front of me. It was a motorbike, or something like that. I don't remember it much. Anyway, I swerved to try to avoid it, but I took a blow to the head. A bad one.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what happened to the person on the bike? I'm guessing they didn't get away with injuring the Viola Cadaverini, right?
I don't know what happened to them. They ran away. Or so I heard.
Ran away?
If they'd stayed, I'd have.
Is it possible? Could the person who committed the hit and run have been... Furio? It was this man, wasn't it? He was the cause of your accident.
It wasn't Don Tigre. I refuse to believe it. We collided, their motorbike and my car. But Don Tigre isn't injured at all, is he?
It was the tiger who caused Viola to crash, I can feel it. Plus, one of her locks just broke, so she must suspect it was him too. I'm sorry, Miss Cadaverini, but I have proof that the tiger was involved in a traffic accident on his bike. It's all smashed up. It's not exactly a motorbike, but Mr. Tigre rides around on a scooter, doesn't he? And you'll notice that the front wheel guard is badly damaged. Miss Cadaverini, you know the truth, don't you? This repair bill was paid by Furio Tigre. The Cadaverinis have known for ages who caused the accident, haven't they?
It's possible, perhaps. Somewhere inside me, I know that it may be true.
I knew it.
But Don Tigre still saved my life. The operation was very complicated. It was a very, very expensive.
How much are we talking?
Very, very, very expensive.
She seems kind of hesitant about giving me an actual figure. I should back off. Well, anyway, it was the tiger who paid for it, right?
After I recovered, Don Tigre told me. He said he paid for the operation because he cared about me. I believe him.
Really? But do you honestly believe that to be true? Do you want to know what I think? I think the reason he paid for the operation wasn't because of you, but someone else. Your scary-ass grandfather? Perhaps I shouldn't be saying this, but your grandfather, Byrde Cadaverini, controls a lot of dubious cash, right? And you are his beloved pride and joy. Sure, I don't know exactly how much the operation cost, but if you weren't the granddaughter of Mr. Cadaverini, do you think Mr. Tigre would have paid the money?
$1 million.
Unlock successful. Yay! I'm gonna save on another slot really quick, because there is an achievement in this chapter that I would like to get back to at some point, someday. Off stream. Anyway, carry on.
The HUD bandage. 4 months ago, I was in a traffic accident. That's why I needed the operation. When I woke up, they told me it was nothing serious. A simple procedure. Oh, really?
Well, I guess if she recovered in 4 months, it couldn't have been too big.
They said the operation cost $1 million. $1 million? My grandfather ordered Don Tigre to pay $1 million in compensation.
Compensation, huh? It's underworld lingo for paying money to settle a score. Basically, pay or get into some serious trouble. But $1 million? This has to be related to our poisoning case somehow.
I wanted to believe him. I wanted to trust what Don Tigre said. He said it had nothing to do with my grandfather being Byrde Cadaverini. I wanted to believe he helped me because he cared about me, not about my grandfather.
Oh no, she's so sad!
But I knew that wasn't really true.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
What he did to get the money was... it was evil. He said it was all for me, so I helped him.
You helped him? In what way?
Here, take these.
What are these? Medical papers?
I'm Byrde Cadaverini's granddaughter. He had to pay compensation. He was made an offer. He simply couldn't refuse.
A $1 million bill for cranial surgery. Payment was due last year. Viola's medical papers. Oh my god. Wow, I feel so bad for Viola. It's inexcusable. Huh? There are 2 things that I consider inexcusable. Poisoning and betrayal. Only a coward would hurt people using either of these tactics. Oof. Is everything alright, Nick? We should get going. Right after we finish our espresso.
Yeah.
I won't need to convince Viola of anything else, so I guess I can get rid of this. Repair bill thrown into the trash. Are we not done here yet? January 7th, Tribulating. Hey, bonjour! I've been waiting for you to return! Mr. Armstrong. Ah, good timing. I was hoping to find you here. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Well, he hasn't got anything to say to you, fellas. Oh, Lord.
Ah, it's Zinniop.
Who you calling Zinniop?
Ah!
Come out from under the table already, Maya. Okay, hand it over. What? You just want to play games with me? I don't recommend that. Medical papers, now. Oh, uh-oh. I think he wants Viola Cadaverini's papers back. You mean this? The $1 million medical papers? Miss Cadaverini trusted you. That's why she said that she helped you. Forget about it! That girl's dumber than an eggplant. Yous wanna know what she said? I'll tell yous what said, and it ain't only her face. She thinks she's got power cause she's Brutal's little girl. Now that's sad. Can't let you have these papers. Tomorrow in court, I'm gonna expose what you did to get that $1 million you used to pay this off. Are you crazy or something? I don't care if you want to give it to me or not. Yeah, it's two of us here. You got that? Two. Oh, fuck.
We.
Mr. Armstrong?
Forgive me. Désolé. I cannot argue with him.
Son of a fuck. That really hurt. Is that all you've got? I'll be taking those papers now. Armstrong, get the lighter. Wait! Don't take it too hard, Phoenix Wright. That was so stupid. I shouldn't let my guard down. Ah, fuck. These medical papers were vital evidence. Godo, save me! Gumshoe, somebody! Hold it, pal! Hell yeah, Gumshoe, thank God. Detective Gumshoe? Detective! You think you gonna stop me, copper? Beat it! Ah! Wow! Come on, Gumshoe, keep it together! You guys, get out of here! Leave this guy to me! But, go, pal! Take this! You get hurt! Who's gonna look after Maggie, huh? Alright, thanks, Gumshoe.
Wait, Nick, don't leave me behind.
I'll get even with that guy tomorrow in court. Tenderlender is going down. To be continued. That was a roller coaster, wasn't it? Alright, save progress, yes. We're gonna save here. And I think this is a pretty good place to stop. I'm getting kind of tired. Okay. So tomorrow's Halloween. I would love to do a Halloween stream, except I'm going to be out and about tomorrow, like I said earlier. I have a friend visiting, but if we get back early enough, maybe a little Inscription or Back for Blood if people are out for it. You know, something spooky to get the mood going. But we will see. If not, then Monday or Tuesday is Final Fantasy Day, so we'll do some, not Palace of Dead, the other one, Heaven on High on Monday or Tuesday. And I do still want to do more of this, so maybe we'll do sometime during the week. But yeah. Thanks everyone for watching and everyone who stopped by. If you enjoyed yourself, having a good time, please do feel free to, follow the stream if you want to catch us next time or support the stream somehow. Following is free and it helps me out. What's it called? Anyway, yeah. So thanks everyone for stopping by. Hope you have a good weekend. Happy Halloween if I don't see you tomorrow. And we'll see you back on Monday or Tuesday, hopefully, for some Final Fantasy and chill. Or if you're not into any of that, I'll see you back next weekend for more, or maybe sometime next week, probably next weekend, for more of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Let me see. Ooh, cool. This looks like Neo Neko is still streaming, so we'll go raid him. Just go say hi. You don't have to follow or stick around if you don't want to. It's totally fine. Just say hello. Show a little love. So we're gonna go raid my friend Neo Neko here. And I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Have a good night. Happy Halloween.